Okay, thank you. Okay, so the first part of what I want to discuss is the dis discussion I had with one of the preferred irrigation vendors. After the special meeting the other day, I literally got a call from this guy out of the blue. GTI is one of the two preferred vendors. He was checking in to see how we were doing and the progress we were making. I told him it was highly coincidental he had just called because I said, we just finished a meeting, we're discussing options, we're still working on it, we're still very interested. And I wanted to run by him what Donald and I had discussed, and including a previous discussion with Dave Reagan, the irrigation engineer who designed our irrigation system. And essentially it was, they have each of the 5 vendors we've solicited bids from have a mobilization fee. His happens to be $35,000. And I talked to him about providing to them a letter of intent, and some piece of that, I said we were thinking in the 10 to 15,000 range, but you know, we wanted to negotiate with him and see where we stood on other parts of the contract. But it would be a letter of intent to say to them, look, we like you as a vendor and we want to work out the details, and we'd like to show you our commitment by giving you a deposit. This deposit that we'd give him or whoever we agree to this with would guarantee that the rate that he's at now, and we have 2 preferred vendors at a roughly $2 million rate, that it would lock them in at that rate without a price increase, thereby you know, avoiding the potential $500,000 that our highest of the 5 would charge us. So that's kind of a small insurance policy to get him locked in. The risk to us is we don't lock him in and he takes other work. The benefit to us obviously is for a $12,000 to $15,000 range that we would you know, save that $500,000 risk. We'd avoid that risk, I should say. So he does have other work. He's got another course that has got some interesting things going on, but he was calling me, he says, I still have room for one more. And part of our discussion, we said, look, if you do get other work, your obligation would be to return our earnest money to us, that deposit, which he agreed. He's used to dealing with letters of intent before he gets a formal commitment. So he was fine with that approach. And I think that's one way we could lower our risk of the extra $500,000 for doing just the course piece. So that's, I'd ask you to strongly consider that. Okay, so the next important piece of what I wanted to discuss is as a follow-up to the meeting the other day, where it's clear that on the table is a $9.4 million combined package of amenities and golf course. I ran this by, I just got it yesterday, the details of it from Tappy. We discussed it. And we also discussed what I had reviewed with the Green Committee as, in addition to that, 2 other possible options that we'd like to see included in a vote should we go this route. So I just take a moment to explain it. There would be 3 options. And the first option obviously is the full package as you described the other day, 9.4 million. And if that option got the 466 votes or more, it would pass and we'd go that way. Option 2 was a second option, which would be the combining of the top 3 amenities, 2 bocce courts, not 3, fitness and cart barn, and a socialization area, along with regressing and irrigation, at a cost of approximately $5 million, and that would be with a 0 assessment. And option 3 would be just the regressing and irrigation for $2.2 million. The 2.2 is because we're up by about $100,000 over the 2.1 I previously mentioned, and that's cost increases, which I can itemize if you want to know the details. But the 2.2 million in option 3 would be funded by 1.2 out of capital and a $1,000 assessment, or roughly $10 per member per month. And that would leave 3.5 million in the amenities funds, in the capital funds, I should say, for amenities, available whenever the the timing and all the details of that are worked out. They're there. We haven't touched that piece of it. So we could allow someone to vote yes on the first one and yes on the second one if they said, well, look, I do want the second one as well, and yes on the third one. Someone could vote yes to all three. And if the first one, as I said, the $9.4 million package gets 466 votes, it would pass and it would prevail over the other two. But if it doesn't, and option 2 got 466 votes, we'd do option 2. And obviously, if 2 didn't pass and 3 did, we'd still do the golf course. And that would still leave $3.5 million in the capital funds. The advantage of offering these choices is it actually leaves it up to the members. We're not going back to them with the same plan we just did in the survey. And I'd remind everyone, if you look at the survey response to question 2, which said, let's combine them, we only had 30% of the membership which said yes, and 68% of the membership either didn't vote or said no. So I believe that there is no chance that the members will step up and vote that. But if they do, if I'm proved wrong, great, we proceed with it and it's all fine. But I want to give the members a chance to weigh in on other options as well, because I believe it's crucial that we do not waste 8 weeks, or we're right back where we were last year, which was it's the end of the year and we're now no authorization, no formal plan. We need to set a decision. And by offering the members the right to vote, I think if you go back with just one option, you're going to have continued acrimony, continued divisiveness. You're going to say, people are going to respond to me, as a few have already, to say, why are we coming out with this when we just had a survey and the results of that clearly demonstrate we don't have 466 to support this. There were many letters of support written during the course of the survey. I understand that, and I'm happy with that. There were a couple that were written against it, and the members kind of weighed in. And I want the members to have a chance to make the decision, not what I call ram it down their throat. Each of the members of the committee believe that offering options is really important. One actually thought that we shouldn't offer an option, we should just do the course. And by the bylaws we discussed the other day, we believe you could do that, but I understand the board prefers to offer a vote. And I prefer to offer a vote. And after all the long, hard hours of work we've done, and I respect the work that other committees did as well. Strategic planning did a great job. They put together a great plan. But I want the members to be able to weigh in and let the members decide this. And by offering these other options, that's a good chance for them to really tell the board and Foxfire what they really want. Any questions?
Do you think, Joe, these are the things that I expressed yesterday. Do you think that this kind of a ballot would be confusing to members with 3 options on it? Guess he didn't hear me. He's muted, that's why.
Sorry. Okay, Tappy, sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah, as I expressed yesterday during our phone conversation, do you think this kind of approach would be confusing to members to have 3 options before them?
I spoke to only a couple or 3 members about this along with the committee, and only one person needed some extra explanation. And I think in your instructions, you clearly tell people, look, if you want everything, you can vote yes to all 3. And if we get 466, everything passes. Even if the high, option 2 or 3 were 480, 490, 500, if we get 466 on the grand package, that's what we need, and we proceed with that.
So if more than one option got 466,
the order in which it would occur is option 1 would be approved, the 9.4 million entire package would be approved. If that didn't get 466, but option 2 did, it would precede option 3. And then obviously if it didn't get it either, then 3 would prevail, and we'd still have $3.5 million left in the amenities capital improvement funds.
Right. My other concern at the time, and it still is, I don't have an answer to this. I don't know if that's a legal ballot. I'm not sure that we could present it with in that form, but that's not a question you can answer.
Okay. I see no reason why you can't ask anything on a survey that you want, as long as it's presented legally and properly and explained. I don't see why you can't, but I defer to
Thank you.
your legal mind.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you.
Why couldn't you just choose one instead of choose three?
The question is, why can't you just choose one of them?
Yes.
My concern is if all you offer is the $9.4 million package, we've
No,
already offered that in the survey.
You
And
offer all three options, but just choose one option.
Well, because I think if you exclude it, that the problem with that is what we went through before, where you say only choose one, and someone will say, look, I only want everything. I don't want, I mean, that prevents us from getting authorization to do the golf course. So that would fail dramatically, because if you rely on just option one, the amenity people would say, as they have in the past, well, we're not going to give you the golf course because we want amenities done as well. They've already said that a couple of times now.
Okay.
Joe,
Yes.
repeat what the option 2 was? You were garbling because of our internet speed here, so, or on
Sure.
your end.
Right. So option 2 combines the top 3 amenities.
What you're proposing included.
So the top 3 amenities, which include 2 bocce courts, not 3. Obviously 3 are in your option 1, but the option 2 is 2 bocce courts, the fitness and cart barn, and the socialization area. And that would be for $5 million, and it would be no assessment per member. We'd be using the capital funds to do all of that.
Okay.
Joe, have you discussed this with the financial committee?
No, because I literally only, when Tappy and Tappy sent me the $9.4 million plan yesterday afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to review this with the financial committee. But the costs that were previously provided that I used from the other were 2.1 or 2.2 million for the course, $2.1 million on the fitness center cart barn, and roughly $100,000 for 2 bocce courts. That's numbers provided by members of SPC. We think that's high, by the way. And I'm not sure what all the cost is of the socialization. Obviously, it depends on what you put in and where you put it. I know we want a socialization area, but furniture is not expensive. I believe the halfway house is upwards of $450,000 I've seen. So that comes close to $5 million. 2.2, 2.1 is 4.3, 100,000 for the bocce is. I'm sorry, say again? I didn't hear the question.
As I understand,
You're breaking up. Somehow there's an echo.
Yeah, we didn't hear the question. It was broken up.
the second proposal.
You're still breaking up, Jim.
Right. I'm standing up, actually, not breaking up.
Now we can hear you, Jim.
I understand the second proposal. The amenities you've chosen to go on the second proposal do not include bringing the tennis courts up to regulation or a third bocce court, which
Right.
the chairman of the bocce people yesterday told us it was absolutely essential. So my question is, why have you left tennis and one bocce court out of this proposal?
Okay, so good question. The tennis, we've been told, needs to be repaired. That surface needs to be repaired. To me, that's fine, repair it. And there should be money to do that out of our repair and replace. It's normal replacement. Our concern is the encroachment on the course. And on the bocce, we selected the location for 2 temporary courts. And for 2 years, we've gotten by with 2 courts. All of the courses we visited had 2 bocce courts, not more. And it would surprise me if Foxfire is unique. I know it would be convenient, but just as we've chosen 2 nights for trivia and some people get shut out of that, I heard John Dion speak the other day, and I respect his understanding, but I think you schedule it. Just like any event that's oversubscribed, you plan it on multiple days and you schedule around it. I'm trying to select something that will pass, that provides something, good quality amenities for everyone. And if you redo the tennis courts, the tennis people will have beautiful new surfaced courts. And putting in professional bocce courts, the bocce people will have beautiful place to play. Right now, our golf course, as you've seen and heard, with all these numbers that we've been circulating, we're in dismal shape. We need to get this done. But that responds to your question.
All right, but you understand that the tennis people have requested repeatedly that their courts be brought to regulatory standards, and the golf course architects have said we can do that, and it will not affect the beauty or the playability of the course. In fact, it probably, as the redesign that's contemplated, will make those holes more playable. That's what we've heard.
Yeah, Jim, I respectfully disagree.
I would choose to annoy a substantial group of Foxfire members, namely 325 bocce people and 125 tennis people, when there's really no issue here but to provide the things they need as far as the activities they participate in.
But I think there is an issue, Jim.
I'd like to hear from Joe if I.
Yeah, option 2, Jim, absolutely gives the bocce people 2 courts, which would be surfaced properly, not, we went with grass, but every other court basically uses the same surface as what's on the tennis courts, that clay type surface with, legitimate walls on the sides and all that. So I think when they get good bocce courts, that'll be fine. I respectfully disagree with the architect. We know the architect's made some bad choices in the past, the way he's contoured some of the greens, the way he contoured bunkers. So the architect is not infallible. And the comment about being 125 feet away, I've been in every meeting with him when that's been discussed. And it was a pretty arbitrary remark. Well, about, 125. I disagree. I mean, when you move everything out, which would be the upwards of 40 plus feet, 24 feet for the tennis courts, plus the extra bocce court, plus the space for mounding and whatever. We're heavily encroaching on that green area, and me and many others don't believe that's a good choice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr.
Joe, this is Lynn Anderson, Chairman of the Finance Committee. Joe.
Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks, Joe. We have not had an opportunity to review the costs that you are representing to the group today. I am not matching up with the numbers that you have presented. What assumptions have you made for professional services, engineering, underground utilities, demolition, furnitures and fixtures, parking in your cost?
I have not, because I don't know what the specific cost is of the socialization area and those other numbers, I don't. So it could be what I called $5 million, could be 5.2, 5.3. I don't know, Lynn. I don't have those numbers. I only
That's-
had the numbers that are the bocce court, the fitness and cart barn, and the, of course, the golf course.
So I think it's dangerous to present numbers without having the numbers, because many components of those buildings you have to have demolition costs to knock down the cart barn that exists. So I think without having verification of the numbers, they are useless to our members in this conversation.
Okay, well, they're not useless if they're added, because all we'd need to do is just add that in, and that can just tweak the amount of the proposal. I think it's critical that we offer people a real compromise, not just dismiss it because we didn't include the demolition of the utilities numbers. We have those numbers. They're included in option 1. So you factor those into option 2 and then adjust the cost accordingly. I mean, if we know those, I'd certainly.
Any other
expect-
questions from Mr. Collins? Okay. Thank you, Joe, for your comments. I'd just like to say that, the Green Committee has an important role to play in making recommendations to the board about the golf course. However, it has no right of approval of any other aspects of this master plan, nor does it have a right of approval over what sort of a vote goes to the members. After our special meeting, it appeared that the board significant consensus about the master plan and the finance, has strongly recommended.
Hey, Bill, y'all are breaking up.
Irrigation.
Bill, you're breaking up.
The board gets a plan that you'll.
I can't hear you.
The board at its. Can you hear me now?
Right now, yes.
John, can you hear
I
me?
can. Can you hear me?
Okay,
My dude.
we can. The board at its special meeting the other day appeared to adjust the plan and financing. And in this plan, irrigation and regrassing is clearly the #1 priority. That's the thing that would be acted on first. We agree that the irrigation system needs to be replaced. But the consensus of the board appeared to be to move ahead with various of the other projects and the timelines to be determined, but sort of at least generally sketched out. So that being said, let's move on to Barry Murphy.
Okay, everybody hear me?
Yep.
Ken Barry.
Okay. I don't have a lot to add from what I said this week. Obviously, Joe and I have a lot of disagreements. We're coming at this from very different viewpoints. I still like the use of the word compromise, which I really don't think much of this plan that we're coming up with is a compromise so much. I really think that the SPC delivered to the board what was asked of us. We delivered a master plan with budgetary pricing that we felt was very acceptable given the end product. It was a plan that created a very pleasant environment for our members' enjoyment. Everything fit in. It doesn't look like it's crammed in. We delivered a master plan that provided upgraded amenities, not all new amenities, but upgraded amenities that covered the vast majority of our members. As our tagline said, it was something for everyone. We feel we answered question 1 from the infamous, often misquoted survey that said the majority of our members wish to stay competitive with our peer communities. Our peer communities are currently spending millions of dollars on their amenities and their golf courses to provide for their members' enjoyment, as well as to attract new members. We seem to be one of the few that are not spending money at this point. The survey also said very loudly, don't move the pool. As you're probably aware, the main pool is being refurbished right now at its present location. We should be having the inside of the pool shot today, actually. My position concerning the master plan overall really has not changed. I think we delivered what the board asked us to do. We presented that plan to the members, and I think it deserves a vote. One thing that we overlook, and I really believe is very important, our last board election, Tappy Phillips and Jim Moore basically ran on a platform and said, we're going to get Foxfire up to speed. Majority of the membership seemed to agree to that position. And I think we need to help them deliver on their commitments. I mean, they say we're going to get this done. Let's help them get it done. If past is indeed prologue, then this could be a very long and contentious meeting. I do believe each and every board member is trying to do what they feel is in the best interest of Foxfire, but the viewpoints are vastly different. I wish you all good luck for the benefit of the club. Lastly, I understand one concession may be to create an area for bocce courts that would include 3 bocce courts, but only put in 2 bocce courts, which to me really doesn't make any sense, because the 3rd bocce court, if we're putting in 2, the 3rd one's not costing much if we do it at the same time. If you just leave a swath of grass and come back in and put the 3rd bocce court in later, that 3rd bocce court's probably going to cost you twice what it would cost you if you just put it in by itself. Also, John Dion, as was alluded to, said with 2, he's going to have to cut down the numbers of people who can actually play. So I don't think we should be doing that. So once again, good luck. I mean, I look forward to hearing the discussion. Hopefully you come up with a plan or something that we can vote on that makes sense to everybody. Anyone have any questions?
I want to say thank you for your work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good. That was
Anyone
easy.
else? Okay, well, thank you, Barry. We now go to the recognized member's right to speak for 3 minutes. We'll start with Betty Berger. Not on, okay. Stuart Burkhead. Mr. Burkhead?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay, good morning. Deb and I have been owners in Foxfire for 26 years. We met a lot of good friends and had some good experiences there. There's been some positive investments over the past years, the maintenance facilities being the most recent, the clubhouse 15 years ago, the gate access 21 years ago, and of course the additional 9 holes, and that was 25 years ago, even though people kind of refer to it now as still the new 9. We believe that that we really need to get current with competing clubs in the surrounding area. The entire strategic plan really needs to be implemented. There's been a lot of excellent thought put into it. The committee has done a great job and has put together a great proposal, which I believe is very affordable and will support socialization trends in clubs. That's what's happening in clubs today. Also, a very good return on investment. For 82 cents a day to get what is in the plan is an extremely good plan. And we also can take advantage of very low interest rates right now. So we need to take that into consideration. We haven't had any significant investments in amenities in 15 years. Debbie and I are requesting support from the board, the entire board, to get a complete plan implemented. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burkhead. Chad Calnan. Chad.
That's not Chad.
We're trying.
I can see you are. There he is. Unmute yourself, Chad.
There he is.
Okay, there we are.
Chad?
No, you
Nope,
muted
you're
yourself
muted.
again. Unmute again, Chad. Good.
Okay, Mr. Calnan?
All right, thank you. That's a tough act to follow. Here we go. My father loved Foxfire. He was thrilled when Lynn and I got a place there 8 years ago. He believed Foxfire was an adult playground full of fun, loving, friendly neighbors. He loved people, parties, competition, golf, bocce, and card games. My father also loved rules and never hesitated to enforce them. Take your hat off indoors, open doors for women, keep your sport coat on, be honest, dry your chest first, take responsibility, be a leader, be nice, leave things better than you found them. I trust that our neighbors who prefer not to change the golf course or improve amenities sincerely believe the changes are not worth the inconvenience, club and course loss of use, or the monetary cost. Or maybe some believe the plans are not going far enough, and I respect they might be right. I believe that Foxfire is a wonderful place, but there is a need for improvement. We are losing our culture as a polite, caring, welcoming community. If the amenities are not improved, it's going to be less fun to live here. By not staying current with other communities, we'll find it difficult to attract new buyers. Foxfire is dated and losing its attractiveness. I want to thank the committees. The proposals have been thoughtfully created by the Greens, SPC, and Finance. They are attractive, creative, and affordable. We need to respect the committee's work and allow the board to give them full consideration. Allow the committees to convey their recommendations and conclude their portion of the process. I suggest an implementation committee be formed to recommend the least disruptive, most economic and efficient way to accomplish the multiple plans. After the implementation plan is offered to the members, an intelligent vote is possible. Thank you, board, for all your work. When you are in leadership, everything is your responsibility. I believe when the majority of the board makes a decision, the entire board should support and work towards accomplishing that decision. As a team, prior to voting, you have the opportunity to discuss your opinions, and thereafter the vote, the responsibility to work together to accomplish the decision. The last 20% of any project takes 80% of the work. I hope the board will work to ensure that employees, all committees, all association boards completely understand the proposals. The members need to fully understand in order to appreciate and hopefully then desire the plans. Members need time to study the renderings, read descriptions, see timelines, socialize and challenge the plans with their friends and families. The members need to become comfortable with the proposal, and then we have a chance to have a majority become agreeable. Back to my father. Take responsibility, be leaders. Men, take your hats off, be nice. The reason you dry your chest first is so you don't get a cold. I would like to leave Foxfire better than I found it, and always use statistics in a debate. Make them up if you have to. Thank you. Okay, and I also have a letter from Helen Wessling that she's asked me to read. Okay, and kind of same theme. She wrote, my dad bought into Foxfire at its inception in 1984, when he was in his early 50s. Most of the buyers of that time were in their 50s, early 60s, with many seasonal residents like my dad who were excited to be part of one of the first bundled communities in Naples. Golf, tennis, dining were the amenities offered and desired 35 years ago. Now I am in my late 50s and have been a seasonal resident for the past 11 years and an occasional visitor prior to that. Just like my dad, I have made many wonderful, treasured friends here and have come to love this community and now serve as a volunteer on a couple of committees. I remember Foxfire being in dire straits with the real estate downturn that started in 2006. Lawns were dead and gardens were overgrown as residents were unable to choose or not maintain their properties. Foreclosures were high and Foxfire looked like a fire sale with for sale signs littered throughout the community. Until the signs were banned, I watched fire recover from the real estate downturn and have been greatly impressed with and grateful for the golf course beautification initiative. With all the beautiful gardens and plantings at the tee boxes and throughout the course, for the beautification of Kingsway with all the new trees. We have made wonderful incremental improvements recently, and now it's time to continue the historical commitment to make Foxfire better by moving forward and improving the amenities that are desired and valued by this generation and future generations. The Finance Committee and the board have worked hard to structure a financing package that is both very affordable and very flexible. There is a modest upfront assessment and modest future contributions to the Capital Improvement Fund with an agreed upon cap on the monthly payment for a maximum of 10 years, with the highly likelihood that the contributions could be needed for less than 10 years. With the proposed structure, we have the flexibility to adjust members' monthly capital contributions downward if the projects are slowed down due to permitting or economic issues. I believe that we're getting a huge bang for the buck. And when you look at extensive amenities we are receiving for the most modest payments, I am very excited about the future of Foxfire and want to be part of its success. With a yes vote for combined golf amenity package, I respectfully ask the board and our community to come together, move forward with a combined golf amenity package with the proposed affordable and flexible financing package. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Kathy Connors,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
we can, go ahead.
So first of all, I want to thank the board, and I especially want to thank whoever your technical support team is, because this is a real improvement in order to be able to participate. So thank you. This morning, I want to appeal to you to support the emotional well-being of the relationships in our Foxfire community. Part of the unrest is the fact that we have not seen accomplishments of our strategic plan in too many years. It is time to rally around this Something for Everyone plan to heal our community. I know you care, so care enough to be leaders and endorse this plan that allows us to move forward. Please give our members the opportunity to see accomplishments. This plan puts the golf course first with a total package of amenities. There truly is something for everyone, and you can lead us to success. So if you need to make a decision, you need to make a decision. Do you want to lead half of our community, or do you want to be a leader who includes our entire community in the best interest of Foxfire for our future? Please be a catalyst to end divisiveness. Continuing to offer options only continues divisiveness. I also think that it is impossible to legally accept an option with money attached when you can vote for more than one option. But that's just an opinion. I don't have a legal opinion on that. So please be leaders. If you work together, you will bring our community together, and that's exactly what we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Mary Ellen Deneen. Mary Ellen, but you have to unmute. You have to unmute your device, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen? Okay, we'll come back to you.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Ken.
I apologize, I was not able to get through on the link. Good morning. I'd like to take this opportunity to express my thanks and appreciation to those who have worked very hard and committed members of our association. Barry and his committee, Joe Green's committee, Lynn, the finance committee, and certainly Dr. Canetta and the board of directors. It's not easy to meet the needs and wants of 1,500 plus or minus members, some of whom have been here longer than Eleanor and me. To those who have been here since the late 80s and 90s, you bought into a bundled community of 18 holes, a thoroughfare from Davis Boulevard to Radio Road, a Moon Lake exit, the promise of a clubhouse, and Peppermint Patty. You all got what you paid for then, and some wanted to keep it that way. But there were those who saw a way to make Foxfire a more vibrant and joyful place. It won't be easy. First, let's add 9 more holes. Some said 18's just fine. That's what I bought. That's what I want. That's what I paid for. We all know how that turned out. A new clubhouse, but we already have one, and a grill room with a bar. It's only for drunks, and it'll open the PUD. Gates at Davis Boulevard and Radio Road. They won't work. We'll be stuck inside. The ambulance can't get in. What about fire and police? Kingsway traffic doesn't bother my condo anyway. New greens, fairways, and tees. It's fine the way it is. We're not gray oaks. I can't putt anyway. Hard true tennis courts. I don't even play tennis. What are hard true courts anyway? There are plenty of other courts. I didn't buy in Foxfire to play tennis. There's a message here and a theme that makes Foxfire what it is today and what it could be tomorrow. If not now, when? When will we come together to respond to the work of our members? Trying to make this club what it can be. Hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eckberg. Ken Fallon, Mr. Fallon?
You did.
It's all right.
Go ahead, Ken, we can hear you.
I just have a question, and the question is, given that, well, it's based on what appears to be a board decision to put out a package that includes golf and amenities together with financing plans that are extremely well done. But my question is, what is Plan B for the board if the proposed, if the proposal is defeated? And that's all I have to say.
Well, I think Plan B would be to do what we've talked about previously, to attempt to lock in vendor pricing and see if we can come up with a compromise proposal and revote a compromise. But again, I hearken back to the special board meeting we had the other day where after a lot of discussion, we appeared to have achieved some measure of consensus about the plan you'll hear about and how to finance it. And that's what we intend to pursue today.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Michael Feeney. Okay, Maria Gagne. Maria?
She's unmuted.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can, go ahead.
I just wanted to state my thoughts as well, as if I haven't done it before. But as many people have said this morning, I support the plan as it was presented on September 15th. That's the entire plan with all of the amenities, the enhanced golf, everything in that package. And I want to move forward with that. The fact that we're starting to pick this thing apart in small pieces just doesn't sit well with me. And as a member of the Friends of Foxfire, there are too many other members who have told us that they want the full package. They want amenities. They don't want to just move forward with one or another. And the compromise that has been offered is we can't do it all at once, and we're willing to accept that. And I'm trying to speak for everybody, but I have to speak mostly for myself. And if that's the case, then we're willing to do that. But my big concern is that the timing of the vote is being done in such a way that we might not be able to bring all of our our Foxfire members on board in time to be fully aware of what's taking place, to be fully informed, and we're assuming that there will be a communication effort in place to be able to get us to that 466. So my concern is the timing here, and I feel like we're getting rushed into this because of a vendor. But the bottom line is, I think so many of us want to bring Foxfire up to date and bring it to a competitive position with our other CIRA communities. And the board and the committees have done such a great job trying to cost this out and making it a reasonable expense for all members. So I'm asking the board now to please move forward with courage, act as one team, and help bring the membership back together as one community, where we've always thought that life here is just like a permanent vacation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Kay Leonard.
Hi, can you hear me?
Mary Kay.
Hi, I'm Mary Kay Leonard. My husband John and I just purchased a villa on Kingsway in August during the pandemic, so we haven't been there yet, but we're looking forward to it. Thanks for allowing us to speak. It's really nice to have this opportunity. We decided to buy in Foxfire after many visits over the years, and we based it on three things: the golf, the friendly people that we met along the way, it's just a really happy place, and how the organization is run. So we're really impressed by that. Really want to say we're impressed by your communication about COVID. Just wanted to mention that. You've done a really great job with that. Because we have this information about Foxfire, that's why we chose to come here. However, there's a lot of people that don't know about Foxfire, and they would probably base their decisions on looking at amenities, which need upgrading, in my opinion, even though I love being there. I really hope for some better amenities and some upgrades to keep us current with this growing market in Naples. I can't imagine selling our place, we just bought it, but there are a lot of people there that possibly in the future, and maybe myself, will need to sell or want to sell, and these amenities will increase our property values. I really believe that. We both believe that. And even though we are golfers, we don't play bocce or tennis, or at least we don't yet, we feel that all amenities should be upgraded for everyone. Like you said in your package, you know, there's something for everybody in this package. It's pretty minimal costs. You're taking advantage of the interest rates, and also have done a great job laying it all out and not adding a lot of extra cost through the members. So that's our opinion on that. We will definitely 100% support the full amenities package, and we're looking forward to meeting everybody and hopefully sitting by a fire pit and meeting you all. We're pretty fun, so we look forward to meeting you. So thanks for the opportunity to speak.
Well, thank you, and we look forward to getting to know you. Jim McGee? Please
Can you
unmute.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great.
We can hear you.
Marilyn and I moved here in 2001. We spent 2 years prior to that looking around at communities up and down the coast, East Coast, West Coast. They're not like the East Coast at all, but the West Coast seemed to be a much friendly, united group of people, and particularly in Foxfire, in a bundled community where they work together for the purpose of enjoying each other and the community with a bunch of amenities. We didn't choose any one amenity. We felt we might want to participate in tennis, golf, and we didn't have bocce then, but we saw it as a community. I was president of a board of trustees in Massachusetts of a golf club for 16 years. We had many issues that came up with regards to funding projects. We finally came to a master plan, which included a full new clubhouse, roofing on all the roofs, and many amenities. We found after years of trying to get it financed that many groups became divided, and we started talking about them as tennis groups, golf groups. It wasn't one community. So we put together a master plan. Barry did it in his group and other groups who participated in it, a master plan. I like the idea of a master plan in which includes everyone and all the amenities together. We're one community, and one community that's going to work together. I see in the clubhouse the idea of, well, there's the bocce group, there's the tennis group, there's the golf group, and we pit each other against each other, and the disharmony is really destroying the whole feeling of this as a community. It is a community as a whole. It's one community. I think there's an excellent plan that's been presented by Barry and his group. And I suggest we look at it as one plan and not try to divide it out by voting on separate parts of it at a time. That became very divisive. We've got a finance plan that's very, very economical. And I think there's probably ways of making that finance plan even more attractive to people. We looked at the maintenance building. It took years for us to get the maintenance building built because the permitting and the construction and whatever, it took 2 or 3 years. And over that time, maybe there's a way when we look at the number of things that are in the master plan, that there's a way to finance it over a period of time and not just collect all the money at the beginning, but over phases. In phase 1, we're going to do this much, and phase 2, this much, and phase 3. But don't divide them out and vote on them separately. Vote on it at one time, one plan, and let's get it done. And I think that's what a lot of people are, we've seen for now 2 or 3 years of piecemealing this and try to vote on once, the golf course, then we vote on bocce, then we want to vote on tennis. Let's make one plan. And we see ourselves staying here for a lot more years. And we'd like to participate in all things, but not be looked at as, well, we're the golf people, or we're the tennis people, or the bocce people. We are the people of the club. It should be one club working together in one harmonious way in which everything's accessible and available to everyone. I suggest and recommend that in a vote that it's one plan that's presented, and as you vote yes for it or no for it, and not try to divide it out into bocce and other areas. That's our thoughts on it. We love this place, and we think the people here have worked very hard to make it a great community. I think we want to keep that community, but I think there's a lot of room to improve the disharmony that's in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGee. Chet Murphy?
Barry. I thought he might want to say something. Who else?
Chet?
He just has to unmute.
Can you unmute? Chet, are you there? Unmute. Okay, we'll come back to them.
Okay, I'll leave them open. Diane and Keith Myers.
Diane and Keith Myers.
You just have to unmute.
Hi, this is Diane Myers. Can you hear me?
We can, Diane. Go ahead, please.
So I'd like to present an analogy, like a metaphor, to try to bring another perspective to this discussion. So here goes. You've achieved a goal you've been working on since high school. You worked hard, studied, and actually got accepted into the college of your dreams. You're pursuing your law degree. Nothing matters more than that to you, except maybe football. Your college has a great team, and you love that it is in the top 10. You are proud of your team. You brag about your team with friends going to other schools. You have no interest in crew, no interest in the running team. You would never take a ballet class or any other dance class. But the school is building a new auditorium that will be much larger and able to support the growing interest of other students in other ethnic dance forms. You have friends who are interested in these. You are doing and participating in everything that you love and are happy that your friends are able to attend the same college as you while they are doing what they love. You are all here together at the end of each school day, celebrating the running team's big win today, or that the annual ballet performance is sold out. You're all having a wonderful college experience and gather every evening over a few beers to share your victories, encourage each other during trials, and just be together. Foxfire is our senior year in our chosen college of life. Why has our attitude towards people who don't think and feel exactly the same way we do have changed? Why can't we celebrate our differences? We are all here in Foxfire together. Let's unite on this proposal for the good of the whole. Let's make Foxfire a place we can all be proud of and show off when friends and family come to visit. Do we want to be just another sleepy golf community, a long-kept secret, or be front page news? Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Al Perkins. Go ahead, Mr. Perkins.
I'm here.
We can hear you.
Yes, you are. I spoke in Tuesday's meeting in support of the Greens and strategic planning committees, and I'm not going to rehash that today. But I would, however, like to add a few comments.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Can you raise your voice a little bit?
You got it? You want me to say it all over again?
Get closer to the microphone if you can.
Yeah, just get a little closer to your microphone.
How about now? Does this work?
A little better. Yes, go
let's
ahead.
see. Okay, how about now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. I spoke in Tuesday's meeting in support of the Greens and strategic planning committees, and I'm not going to rehash that today, but I would like to add a few comments. I believe we have two donkeys here in Foxfire. They are named Golf and Amenities, and they are attached to a wagon named Foxfire's Future. Until these donkeys find a way to pull together, Foxfire's future is going nowhere. Now, this may be a tired and corny metaphor, but it certainly applies in this case. Maybe it's time to recognize that these donkeys really represent improvements. Improvements in broken irrigation, outdated grass, short game layout, tiny fitness center, old cart barn, limited outdoor seating, outdated tennis and bocce facilities, undersized halfway house kitchen and grill room. There's nothing new here. These are all existing features which sorely need help. If we can adjust our vocabulary and our thinking, we may recognize that no matter which improvement rides on which donkey, they are important to some, if not all of our neighbors in Foxfire's future. Maybe, just maybe, we can get 466 votes to ensure that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Frank Smith?
He's not on.
Okay. Donald Straker? Mr. Straker? Can you unmute? Mr. Straker, can you unmute your device?
I don't know how. Kathy, can you unmute them?
I did. It's on his end.
Oh.
Mr. Straker, you're going to have to unmute your device.
Tell him bottom left.
It's on the bottom left of the screen.
Click the microphone.
There's a little microphone with a slash through it, a red microphone.
You have to click it.
That means touch it.
Well, they can't touch it on their computer.
All right, Mr. Straka, see if you can figure this out and we'll come back to you. Tom Sullivan? You have to unmute, Mr. Sullivan.
We're going to have to do a seminar on unmuting.
Is this,
Okay, we can
is
hear
this
you
just,
now, Mr. Sullivan. Go ahead.
yeah, it's Tom Sullivan. I didn't really ask to speak, but so I'll just briefly say that I'm impressed with the thoughts of the previous people. They've obviously given great consideration to it. I also am in the camp of, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. And so I think we should go forward with fixing this community for everybody involved. So I appreciate being able to speak.
Thank you.
Go back to Chet Murphy.
Okay, we'll go back to Chet Murphy. Mr. Murphy? Unmute, please.
Yes,
Hey,
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Have you ever looked back on your decisions in life and wondered if you made the right choices? What if I took a different path? Would it have affected me and my family in a more positive or negative way? Is your quality of life something that you often ask yourself the question, am I maximizing my opportunity to enjoy every day with the things that are important to me? My name is Chet Murphy. My wife Carol and I took a hard look at our ability to maximize life's new opportunities before us. It was called retirement. There were many reasons we settled on Foxfire, great location, terrific golf with 27 holes. But beyond that, we had other expectations that were important to ensure our quality of life was everything we had worked so long and hard for. We wanted to be in an environment that was not stuffy and where our new friendships would not be dictated by what we did for a living or how much money we have. We also had on our bucket list a desire to spend time doing the things that often got backburnered while working and raising a family, like getting physically fit, getting back to my tennis game, and exploring new opportunities that would make our choice of where to be in Naples one to look back on with rave reviews. We recognized that Foxfire did not have everything on the proverbial bucket list, but we assumed there was a genuine effort being made by everyone to rejuvenate the aging facilities. We wanted to be part of a club that had the foundation of economic value coupled with our quality of life needs. It is regrettable that I speak to you today to express our dissatisfaction with the outcome of our expectations. The dissatisfaction at its highest level is the disappointment of how our membership is dealing with proposed change. We all have our bucket lists. Not all are the same, but the facts of life are that progress requires change. Eventually, we upgrade the old car that does not have the new features and safety benefits that we want and need. We upgrade our TVs and phones, even our golf clubs. We would not need a pro shop if there was only to sell 1980 vintage golf clubs or to dine in restaurants that have no creative change in both appearance and selections. So first and foremost, we must accept the need for change and at the same time realize that changes should and do affect all of our members. We have a responsibility to each other to see that the quality of life expectations are provided to everyone. Every subgroup has equal say in the amenities that are of their choosing. It is unfortunate that some people feel that golf is our #1 asset. I assure you that the most important asset Foxfire has is its people. People make Foxfire a place to rave about or a place to rage about. We have become a divided community over issues that are me-oriented versus Foxfire-oriented. The discord has grown with an increased intensity, and the outlook is dismal at best if we stay on the same path. I encourage the board, as well as all of our members listening today, to recognize that we can achieve the amenities that complement our bucket list. Our biggest challenge is for everyone, and let me say again, for everyone, to put aside the emotions that are driving this discord. Successful change is not driven by emotion, but by planning. I urge everyone to rethink your position on what is just for you and what is best for everyone. Board member Jim Moore at Tuesday's special meeting made it clear that dedicated hard work of many have paved the way for us to enjoy everyone's wish list of amenities. The new proposed plan can provide something for everyone at a modest cost. I ask that the board vote today to approve the issuing to our membership a vote to adopt golf course and amenities master plan and funding. I also ask our members to vote based on logical and planned progress, not on decisions that you have dug your heels into the ground on and are based on emotion. Lastly, I encourage members to become involved in the workings of our organization. I had the privilege of serving on the Communications Committee for 5 years. Doing so provided me a unique opportunity to fully understand the workings of our club. Those who criticize and call out others with ongoing criticism would be better informed were they to engage rather than express rage. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you, Judd. Who's next?
Mary Ellen Deneen.
Mary Ellen Deneen. Unmute Mary Ellen.
She's on the phone. She should be able to go.
Mary Ellen, can you hear us?
Gone.
It's not gonna work. Oh. It's
No.
not gonna work.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Tilton.
He'll be here in a second. Yes, sir.
Mr. Tilton, please unmute your device. Mr. Tilton, please unmute. Okay.
Can you
We
hear me?
can. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, fellow members. My wife, Katie, and myself would like to thank you for your time, and we fully support, again, we fully support the proposal to add these new and upgraded amenities to all the people in Foxfire. We are relatively newer members here, and we...
Oh, you accidentally hit mute there, Mr. Tilton.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Am I back on?
Go ahead.
Yep.
We think this
We
plan...
can hear you.
We think this plan will create a vibrant and progressive community now and in the future. This plan and this plan,
Mute again.
I'm sorry, fits the basic core values of the Foxfire mission statement. I urge the board members to start this process and to keep our community involved and get this done. I agree with most of the people who've spoken today, and as Barry Murphy elegantly said, this is a no-brainer. Please vote yes for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tilton. Frank
Frank
Walsh.
Not here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vicky Yunker. Vicky, if you would unmute. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, thank you. First of all, Rich and I are hoping that the board will take the initiative and move forward with the combo package of both amenities and golf course improvements. With that being said, I do want to say a thank you to Joe Collins for attempting to come up with a compromise, something in the middle, which who knows, that may be something we have to do in the future. But for right now, my question is, what is the wisdom of voting in November? Why shouldn't we wait until January till people return and they get to see the renderings? You know, there's a reason 300 people didn't respond to that short survey. Maybe it's out of sight, out of mind. I understand about the vendors and all that, but maybe it may be a wiser decision to wait till January. But with all that being said, let's make Foxfire great again.
Love that. Nicely done.
Thanks.
Well, you know, as you correctly point out, one of the driving issues here is we would like to get the irrigation and regrassing underway next spring, and that requires locking in vendors, et cetera. And we would like to take advantage of the lower price we can get if we can get the vendors to commit to their pricing until we can get a vote. And so, you know, we will do everything we can to try and inform members as much as we can through another webinar, through a round table with a variety of people, community meetings, phone calls, etc. But you know, we are under time constraints.
I understand.
Okay, Mr. Straka.
He didn't want to talk.
Okay.
I still don't.
All right. Let's see, Bob Burns.
Yes, I am reading emails that were sent to me from members. I'm sorry, I was on another page.
Well, Tappy, while you're doing that, I have an email that was sent to me and asked me to read.
Okay, go right ahead. I've got it up now. Go ahead.
Okay, it's from Mary Ellen and Mike Cotter, and it says, this plan sounds like it will have something for everyone in it. The golf people will get the finest 27-hole golf course, and the ones looking forward to dining improvements, wellness center, permanent bocce, tennis court renovation will also get their wish list. We must come together to heal our community and make this plan come to fruition. Let's face it, we need you and you need us to get this passed. So let's stop talking about it and come together and start healing our wonderful community. Thank you for Mary Ellen and Mike Cotter. Go ahead, Tappy.
Okay, this is from Rachel and Bob Byrne.
Tappy.
My husband Bob and I have been at Foxfire since 2015. We appreciate the work done by the board of directors, she says special planning committee, the standing committees, the ears, the friends, and the individuals who have been sharing their points of view on the golf course and proposed amenities. We support the golf and amenities package because we feel it is in the best interest for this community. We need to move forward to offer our members more than golf. Right now, our only asset is 27 holes of golf. To increase our outdoor dining is vital at this time. We need a larger kitchen to accommodate the proper preparation and service of food. A fitness center is a primary request for new buyers. The cart barn is outdated and too small. The other amenities will only enhance and improve our social experience at Foxfire. Throughout our lives, we have strived for improvement, to be better people, to improve our homes, to have better relationships with our friends and family members, and yes, to hopefully improve our golf game. Let's commit ourselves to improving our community to make it the best it can be. The cost for doing nothing is stagnation and diminished community pride. The cost of being the best we can be is a mere $20 per month. We strongly support a dynamic, enhanced Foxfire. Thank you. Okay, the $20 a month is maybe not exactly accurate, but that's the start. And then I also have from the Keevers. Sorry. Please convey this if you would like. This is from Karen and Rich Keevers. We both have strong feelings to see the amenities package pass. We realize the importance of the irrigation and reseeding and know that it is absolutely needs to be done. We fear that a vote to only take care of the golf course only brings us to a point that none, all caps, of the other amenities will pass. So we are torn. We do not believe we should wait any longer to contract the golf course maintenance. The costs will only escalate if we don't sign up by November. So that's from the Keevers.
Okay. I believe that's all the members who wish to exercise their right to speak. Probably a Foxfire record in terms of the numbers. Let's go on to the rest of our agenda, beginning with approval of the board meeting minutes of September 18th. This is starting on page 1 of your board book. Any alterations? Page 3. Page 4.
Yeah, I have a question on page 4.
Page 5.
Can you hear me, Bill?
Page 4.
Page 4?
We can, John. Page 4.
Okay, at the top,
Go ahead.
it talks about the approved projects and the amount of 170,000. Well, that's incorrect. We approved 163,000. So, I mean, it's a small difference, but it's still a difference.
Okay.
That's it.
Any other corrections to page 4? Page 5. Page 6. Okay. And page 7. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, let's move on to the general manager's report.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I think you can hear me, so I'll start right away. First and foremost, with regard to COVID-19, I'll just give a short update, and that is we have not had any reported cases, members or staff, for the past several weeks, which is a great thing. In addition to that, we are following all the guidelines that we have in place through the Medical Advisory Committee and best practices. The one thing I'd like to remind all of our members is that whenever they're traversing throughout the clubhouse, they must, just like employees, and I'm reminding employees every day of this, that face mask should be removed or eat. So again, when you're at your own tables, it's okay to have your face mask lowered or taken away. However, when you're traversing the restroom, you must have a face mask on. If you forget your face mask, we do have face masks within each department, and we're happy to give you one to wear.
Hey, Donald, on that point, you may want to put some face masks as people are entering into the grill room, maybe on the end of the table, right? You know, as
Sure,
you walk
sure.
in the door, because a lot of times people like just come in and they're going to come in and eat and they forget to bring it, or they don't have it in their car.
Certainly,
So
certainly.
that might be an easy
That's a
way
good
to solve
idea.
that.
That's a good idea. Very good. Second, with regard to our golf and social events for the fall, we have made a number of modifications to the events themselves and incorporating some additional events. And everything has gone off very well at this point in time. We had a great start to the year with our first inaugural par 3 event of the year on our new tees. And there was approximately 64 participants who enjoyed playing the par 3 courses and a light dinner afterwards. So we're going to be incorporating those events on a monthly basis and doing some random events and impromptu events along with those scheduled events as well. We also have our member event that will start next Friday. And as of Wednesday, we already had 90 players signed up. And as mentioned in our previous email, we have made some adjustments to the dining so that we can operate in the safest way possible. But it looks like we're going to have a great field for the event. And again, we'll be able to operate in a very safe way and bringing people together and enjoying the course and the social aspect of the event. With regard to our pool renovation, at this point in time, The pool, the interior of the pool is being plastered. They're actually putting doing the finish on the inside of the pool today, and then the pool will be filled with water. There's been a lot of progress over at the pool these last couple of weeks where we've started on our plantings, our new plantings. We've installed all new irrigation. Our new fence has been installed, and at this point in time, there's a series of events that have to happen to get a CO for the pool itself. However, with the golf course restroom renovation, our only delay at this point in time is the delivery of the new windows indoors. And without having the windows and doors, we will not be able to get a final permit for the bathroom themselves. However, we feel as though we'll be able to get the pool open as soon as it's ready, and the other facilities at the clubhouse will have to be used by our members who use the swimming pool. All of our furniture at the pool has been painted and reslung, powder coated and reslung. We have new umbrellas. And I think that when our members return, they'll be very happy with the overall outcome of that project.
Hey, Donald?
The golf course.
Donald?
When are the windows and doors ready to come in?
Right.
Wait a second, John, we've got two questions.
Sure. So Sherry asked about the windows and doors, and right now the latest has been November 3rd. And so November 3rd. It's interesting that this has been a challenge for us because as I mentioned in last month's board meeting, we had gotten reports of equipment, air conditioning units being back ordered. The fencing, obviously, there was holdups on fencing as well. And pretty much every single trade that we've been working with for the past couple of months, there have been some sort of delays on those parts, but they're trying to expedite that as quickly as possible. The renovation of the bathroom itself has come along wonderfully. The plumbing is already finalized, but we can't final the electrical until the doors are in and everything is mounted. All the electrical is mounted on that tile. So, but November 3rd is what it looks like for the doors to be installed, and then everything's scheduled out so that every single day, once the doors and windows are in, we'll be able to wrap that up very quickly.
So then you have to go to the county, right? So then the county's got to clear the permit or whatever.
Yes.
So that'll be another couple of weeks, you think?
It shouldn't be, because the only thing for the only outstanding permit for the bathrooms is the electrical. That's the only outstanding permit, and so rough electrical is passed, rough plumbing and final plumbing is passed. So it's really just the final electrical, and then we'll be in good shape.
Just from members kind of anticipating when they can start using that master pool again, we're probably looking at the middle of November.
Actually, as long as we can get the approval, the CO for the pool itself, and these permits are not attached in any way, shape, or form. The renovation to the pool is done by a completely separate company, and the renovation to the bathrooms are separate. So as long as the county doesn't, in some way at this point, try to combine them, which again, they're not tied together in any way, shape, or form. We feel like we could probably get the pool open in the next couple of weeks, the pool itself. All the furniture's been delivered, all the new umbrellas have been delivered, so it's just a matter of getting the insides rolling, filling the pool with water, balancing the water, and then getting the final fire permit for the gate, for the fence, and then the final CO for the pool. So we should definitely be able to open the pool in advance of the bathrooms being complete.
Donald,
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can, John.
Okay, just a question. How are we doing in terms of the cost to date against what we had budgeted or approved? Are we in line? Are we running over? Or are we right on?
We're right now we are in line. We were one of the nice things was that our pool furniture was in good shape as far as mechanically, so that we didn't have to replace much of the pool furniture, the slings and the chairs. So we were able to have that powder coated and reslung. So that was a cost that we anticipated. There were, of course, some items that we didn't anticipate, including having to remove the planters, but that became a code issue. But at this point in time, we're within the budget, and we, barring any real surprises in the next 2 weeks, we'll probably finish a few $1,000s better than the overall budget that was approved for that project.
That sounds good.
Okay. The golf course. So one of the outstanding items on the golf course project is the bulkhead wall. And as I explained in the last couple of board meetings, and just as a reminder, the bulkhead wall is contingent on repairing a permanent repair to the drain and the inlet box between 9 red and 9 blue green. I do have one, actually I received yesterday a second second proposal from another company to do that inlet box. As I mentioned previously, the first proposal was about $32,000. This one looks like it's $22,000. So that's a great sign. In both cases, both contractors have verbally committed that they would be able to complete the project during the time that we're closed in December, because we'll be closing each course for 4 or 5 days at a time. And both contractors have confirmed they would be able to do that for sure. So it appears as though we'll be able to get the new C box installed and the drain pipe, the new drain pipe installed and extended into the lake, so that as we move forward with site development, with the new site development plan, we would incorporate the bulkhead on the new site development plan, because that's going to actually save us costs in the permitting portion of everything going forward. So as mentioned previously, the bulkhead wall itself, the drain was, assuming everything works the way it is right now, the drain would be fixed in December, and the bulkhead wall would be installed in the spring, or when we get to the golf course renovations next spring and summer. The company that will do the bulkhead wall, they're well aware of the situation. They understand what we're doing with regard to trying to develop an overall site development plan. And again, they realize that incorporating the bulkhead wall on the site development plan is only going to actually save us costs in the long run. So that's where that is right now. The remainder of the golf course project has come out really well. We did do a repair to the lake bank that we called a temporary permanent repair, but that repair will achieve what we need when we do the full repair, with extending with NC box and extending that pipe will be that. There, I know this meeting is going to be quite long, so I'm keeping my comments rather brief, but I just want to make mention of one other thing, and that is that the labor market here, even with the news of there are not a lot of jobs out there and so on and so forth, the labor market here is still extremely tight. Trying to attract new servers, new bussers, food and beverage wise, has proved just as difficult this year as it has in previous years. There's been with all the clubs not being able to, there's many clubs that have H-2B visas, with most of those clubs not being able to exercise those programs this year, and the restrictions that are in place. There's not a lot of help out there, and that includes the interns that we use from Florida Gulf Coast University. And yesterday I attended the Southwest Florida PGA chapter meeting, and one of the reports was that they're seeing fewer assistant pros enrolling in the overall program because of the expense of the program and getting through to PGA status. The fact that they want to have more they want to have more online and virtual classes, so there's not as much travel and costs related to travel. And of course, the number one reason is the pay scale. So it's going to be something that's going to be a burden to all clubs, whether you're private, public, or resort, over the next few years, because a lot of other jobs are paying more than entry-level apprentice or PGA professionals. So just wanted to kind of get that on everybody's radar. You know, we're in a good spot at Foxfire with our professional staff. However, we are seeing a difficulty with getting qualified candidates from an internship standpoint. And we've inquired, we're working with FGCU, and only time will tell at this point in time, but there's fewer people to choose from. And it looks like that's going to be the way for some time now.
Any questions for Donald? If not, we'll move on to the controller's report. Pam?
Good morning, everyone. I'm like Donald, I'll keep my comments brief. We ended our year, we closed the books. The auditors are actually in-house as we speak. We're $59,000 better than budget, which is a great place to be. I think our staff and our managers have done a wonderful job controlling the costs. When we finished this year, we were $228,000 down in revenues, $30,000 coming from the golf course and $198,000 from the food and beverage department. So finishing the budget $59,000 better than budget is really good. I talked to the auditors yesterday and we were talking about the where we were financially. And one of the things that they indicated to me is that they have seen multiple clubs doing special assessments for the COVID and having to make up the money because of losing the revenues. So that's where we're at with the financials. I don't know if anybody has any questions that they want to ask specifically. If you do, I'll be glad to address it. As I stated, the auditors are in working. They should hopefully wrap up their field work today and then wrap up the audit in the next couple of weeks. Our foreclosures basically we're kind of in the same pattern. We do have one person that's at the attorney, two people at the attorney. One is an estate and it's still under the estate, so there's nothing really other than filing a lien that we can do. The other one is with the attorney and we do have a lien, but they are making payments, so that's a good thing. The capital request, we are asking for a steamer. Our current steamer, we've had a lot of repairs done to it, and we're at a point, if it breaks down, we really need to replace it instead of repairing it again. We've put a lot of money already into it, and so I don't know the exact cost on that.
Yeah, and it's on the schedule to be replaced. That's
Right,
so we
right.
do. So we did have that as part of our budget. But the one thing is that we got 3 quotes, and the least expensive one, which is the one that Leo actually wants, he thinks will serve us the best, is $8,400. So that's, the other ones are over $9,000. But with tax, it's $8,392.30. And as Pam had mentioned, that steamer, we probably spent well over $1,000 last year in repairs alone, and it's 12 or 13 years old. So it's time.
This is something to steam food.
Yeah,
This
it's essential to.
I thought maybe
Oh
a
yeah,
steamer
no,
was
we have a
clean
steamer back
carpet.
there for the employees.
Steamer for
Yeah,
food.
right.
Executive sauna.
Sorry about that.
You don't need a motion on that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
We do need a motion.
So is there a motion to allocate $8,400 to replace this steamer?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay.
Okay,
That's your steamer.
just real quick on the PPP update. Our committee has been meeting every week. We're in a holding pattern, so to speak. The SBA is kind of wanting the banks to give the guidelines for the grant. And so the banks are wanting the SBA to do it. So until we get more, until the banks open up the application so we can actually submit an application, we're just waiting until they do something. And but we're in the process of preparing everything that we need so that when they do give us some guidance and what we need to do, we'll be able to make those applications and submit them to them right away. And then the last thing I have, which is not on the agenda, is the employee Christmas fund letter. I just want to get the
Employee what?
The employee Christmas fund letter.
Oh, okay.
Send out to the members asking for donations. We actually bill the members' accounts and then give them the opportunity to change it to put in with this month's statements that's going to the members at the end of October.
Need a motion?
I think that's something we want to get out as quickly as possible.
Yes,
It's very
yes.
important.
Yeah.
And I would make a motion if it requires a motion. I'm not certain.
We do this every year. I don't recall voting on it.
But we have a motion on the table to approve sending the letter concerning the Christmas fund, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Well, I'm saying aye. I just got unmuted.
Okay.
Aye. Okay, thanks, Mark.
Anybody have any questions for Pam?
I just want to say one thing, and I hope I'm speaking on behalf of the entire board. I assume I am. To thank you and everybody who watches over our budget and the management of our resources here for doing such an exceptional job in a very difficult year. When revenues plunged like it did, to finish the year almost 60,000 over budget, I think is extraordinary. And I want to thank you, and I hope you pass that on to everybody.
We had our staff meeting and I told them they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, you have.
Everybody has really been cautious and watched what they've spent, so.
And Donald, you too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I was looking at
No, that's all right.
I mean, the whole team.
No, of course,
I know
no.
you two guys.
No, we all work together. That's absolutely, no question.
Well, it takes all of us.
I agree.
I think it's a tribute to the remarkable stewardship Donald and Pam and all the department heads that in the face of $228,000 loss of revenue, we came out in the black. So congratulations to all of you. And as Jim said, please convey our thanks to the staff.
Bill, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to new business. The first item of which is a vote to adopt the golf course and amenities master plan and funding. And to begin this discussion, you have on your screen an outline of this proposed master plan.
Move it up. Okay, let's move it up.
This really is the end result of several years of work culminating in a special board meeting we had last Tuesday. So I placed before the board and members this master plan. As you can see, it has a number of elements. Beginning in 2021, number one is irrigation and regrassing and a rebuild of the Red 9 Green with a cost of $2.31 million. Also, nope, go back.
Wait, move back, okay. Sorry, wait, yeah.
Also in 2021, we'll resurface the tennis courts and bring them up to standards and install 3 bocce courts at a cost of $300,000. 2022 and beyond, we have a number of things. Exactly when they come into play would depend primarily on permitting. And these elements include a 2-story building with a fitness center and a cart barn, a halfway house, casual dining, grill room expansion, which really is more a grill room renovation, and enhanced golf facilities with a practice area, rebuild of the Red 1 putting green, All of that, the Cart Barn Fitness Center at a cost of $2.3 million, the halfway house and the other things at a combined cost of, what is that, 2.32 million. And then the last item are all the ancillary things that get lumped in and need to be accounted for. Professional services, architects, engineers, et cetera, all the things listed there at a cost of $2.22 million for a total project cost of $9.45 million. Now, let's go to the first phase. Irrigation and regrassing of all 27 holes of the golf course is the first priority of this plan and is scheduled to begin around.
You got to really speak up. It drops out.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
I am.
Happy, can you hear?
No, it dropped
Okay.
out completely. I think when it's not, when it's not projected loudly, that's when it drops out, I think.
Okay, I'll start again.
Yes.
Phase one, which begins in 2021. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Which begins in 2021, involves irrigation and regrassing of all 27 holes of the golf course as a first priority, and it's scheduled to begin around April of next year. This would be coupled with rebuilding the Red 9 green, moving it closer to the bulkheaded lake bank and reshaping the green to a more north-south orientation. Our golf course architect has repeatedly said that these changes will improve the quality of this golf hole. If this master plan is approved by members, we're prepared to cut checks to vendors immediately to lock in pricing and a starting date of next spring. I reiterate, the irrigation and regrassing is the #1 priority of this plan. Simultaneously with irrigation and regrassing, we would resurface the 3 tennis courts and bring them up to industry standards. That includes new perimeter fencing and adding 2 sun shelters and fences between the courts. These changes require expanding the footprint of the courts by 24 feet to the west. The east boundary of the courts is already up against the setback from Kingsway, so there's really no possibility of expanding in that direction. Simply resurfacing the courts without upgrading them to current standards makes no sense. This phase also calls for installing 3 bocce courts of regulation size with shelters just west of the tennis courts. Our golf course architect, as well as the representatives from the architectural firm MHK and the engineers, all support the safety of bocce courts in this location. Yesterday, we placed flags at the interface of the bocce facility with the Red 9 hole so that members can go out and see for themselves, if you're here, just how these 2 facilities would interface. With 325 or more bocce players, it would appear that 3 courts are necessary. And built into this whole plan is enhanced cart parking adjacent to the bocce courts and in the vicinity of the what is projected there as the halfway house. These upgrades to the existing tennis and bocce facilities will cost an estimated $300,000. Can we go to the next slide? In 2022, or not too long afterwards, depending on permitting, we propose to build a 2-story structure combining our fitness center with a new cart barn to replace the 35-year-old structure. This would be located near the present cart barn, but move slightly north to meet setback requirements. The fitness center would be approximately 6,000 square feet and include open floor space for yoga and Pilates and the like, along with fitness and training equipment. That size fitness center is appropriate for a community the size of Foxfire. The fitness center would occupy the second floor and be accessible by an elevator, which would accommodate any safety equipment that would need to get to that second floor. When this facility comes online depends mostly on permitting, and the cost estimate is of $2.3 million, with about half of that attributable to the cart barn itself. The remaining elements of the master plan include casual, outdoor, social, and dining areas, renovation of the grill room, a new halfway house, enhancements to golf practice facilities, and rebuilding the Red One putting green. Go to the next slide. Outdoor dining capacity would increase modestly by expanding the existing deck to the west of the grill room to accommodate a second row of tables. And that's illustrated here. The inside row adjacent to the windows is what exists now, and we would add a second row there. Could we go to the next slide? The social area would occupy the present cart parking area north of the grill room. And that's illustrated here. And as you can see, there's a wall separating the social area from the parking lot. And we envision this social area to have some fire pits, et cetera. So that would really be conducive to outdoor socialization. You go to the next slide. Okay, the relocated halfway house is in a position to serve the golfers as they make the turn, the tennis and bocce facilities, and the casual seating area. We don't envision this as being a kitchen to serve outdoor dining. That would still take place from the main kitchen, but it's located so that it's accessible to tennis, bocce, golf, and the social area. Relocating this halfway house frees up much needed space for the kitchen in the clubhouse without having to expand the footprint of the clubhouse. Next slide. The proposed grill room renovation calls for relocating the bar to the northwest corner of the room, facing the golf course, and the bar could accommodate service both from the inside and the outside. Next slide. The proposed enhancements to the golf practice facility include a short game practice area near the current Blue One tees. And in the process of doing this, the Blue One would become a par 4 and Blue 9 a par 5 golf holes. Next slide. There are also some proposed improvements to the golf practice range, which would facilitate better practices. Completing all of these phase 3 components depends on permitting and would cost an estimated $2.32 million. The other costs associated with the project, the professional services, et cetera, add another $2.22 million for a bottom line cost of $9.45 million. In summary, over the last 8 years, a great many Foxfire members have devoted countless hours to research how best to move forward with these needed enhancements. Members have weighed in with their views. This proposal is the culmination of all these efforts and recommendations. In short, we've heard you. Researchers tell us that the friendliness of a community is what is most important to members and what appeals most to a potential buyer. That is what attracted me to Foxfire 20 years ago. As a renter for 1 year, I was welcomed by members and made to feel part of the Foxfire family. Foxfire's emergency is not the golf course irrigation system, it's the division within our wonderful community. Friendliness still exists beneath the angst associated with this process of plotting a future course for Foxfire. It's long past time to put divisions behind us and reestablish the spirit of collaboration and unity. This plan, which parenthetically does not require opening the PUD, is a great example of synergy and a win-win. Let's give it a chance. We all acknowledge that Foxfire has a fabulous location and a terrific 27-hole golf course, and we all want to live in a community of which we can be proud. These necessary enhancements to our recreational, social, and wellness facilities will make Foxfire one of the most sought after and desirable communities among our peers. Present members will have a wide choice of healthy activities, and potential buyers will find the friendly, up-to-date, and well-maintained community they seek. We're so fortunate to live in a community with sound finances, an excellent and stable management team, and a community populated by compassionate members with diverse backgrounds and interests. Let's make the most of these blessings and secure the future of Foxfire. Now I'll ask Lynn Anderson, who is chair of our finance committee, to explain how we propose to finance these improvements. Lynn.
Thank you, Dr. Crenetta. The Finance Committee met individually with each board member, and based upon the components of the plan as just outlined by Dr. Crenetta and the input of the board members, the United We Are Better financing plan, something for everyone, has been revised to a special assessment of $2,470 or $25 per member per month for 10 years. The entire plan still consists of 3 buckets. The first is past savings and reserves that are expected to be accumulated, the special assessment, and a future Foxfire community loan, a portion of which $3 million is budgeted to be used, is budgeted to be obtained by future capital contributions that you're already paying into the fund. A portion of what you're already paying will continue to accumulate in the fund as well for future needs. We are also looking at a possible add-on loan with a maximum $20 increase per month in the capital contributions to the Capital Improvement Fund. The earliest this additional $20 would occur would be January 2022. The increase would only occur if the site plan is approved by the county, and it will only continue until the loan is paid off, not to exceed 10 years. So in summary, there's be a special assessment, $2,470, $25 per month for 10 years. We expect that special assessment to be in spring of 2021. It can be prepaid by members at any time without penalty. So if you feel you want to, for 1 year, you want to pay $25 a month, then the second year you want to pay it off, you can do that. If you leave Foxfire, Foxfire permits you to transfer your special assessment obligation to a new owner. However, you will be required to negotiate that with a new buyer. The increase, the $20 increase that may happen for the Capital Improvement Fund and any other portion of your Capital Improvement Fund obligation automatically transfers to a new owner when you leave Foxfire. I also want to emphasize it's a maximum $20 increase. We will only increase for the actual cost of the project that is needed, and we will strive to pay off the loan sooner than 10 years if possible. The board has given us good feedback, and we have listened and tried to meet their needs. Sherry Straker was very helpful in suggesting that the special assessment be less than $2,500. She also emphasized that we should not take money until site plan approval is completed, because she was concerned about what happened with the maintenance building. John Hawk pointed out that we should not do the special assessment on any quarter when we are doing a regular billing, and we have committed to do that. Mark Schwab also pointed out that we are still in a COVID environment. And so we know PPP money has been committed to this plan. All of that will be reserved over the next year or more until we're out of this for any shortfalls in the budget that we may need. We are very fortunate, as Pam indicated, that this year we were able to manage through it, but we will have this money in reserve for operating needs if we need it. So at this time, this plan does not include any possible benefit of the PPP fund. In summary, $2,470 or $25 per member per month to make Foxfire better. It's something for everyone. Thank you.
Okay. That's the master plan and financing package that's before you. And I ask, is there a motion to adopt this plan with financing as the approved master plan for Foxfire?
I move that we adopt the golf course and amenities master plan as presented with the funding as set forth therein.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a discussion?
I do have one question, and that relates to the timing of these improvements. If, for example, on the new cart barn, the two-story facility, if we have the permits, we can get the permits in 2021, let's say halfway through the year, and the financing would permit construction, can we begin that in 2021, or do you contemplate waiting until 2022? The reason I ask is I'd like to take advantage of low interest rates while they're still available, and contractors may still be looking for work. If that were available, could we start a little earlier and save money?
You're asking me?
Well,
okay.
anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of this whole plan, is that it does provide real flexibility.
Okay.
So that, things will be contingent upon permitting and what makes the most sense at that point in time.
But if we can actually save money and get started earlier, then
Sure.
I would like to see us do that.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And it goes back to with the golf, with the cart barn and all that. That would certainly be a timing thing too, as well, because you wouldn't want to start that in the middle of February, for example.
Correct.
Because that could have a real negative impact. So that's where
I can see that.
Yeah. So that's that. So it might be a case where, yes, we have the permit in hand, but we say, okay, well, this isn't going to start until April or May.
Okay, so we have some flexibility built in.
Yes, and so does the finance, and obviously the finance plan does as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to jump in here.
Ahead,
Going
John.
back to what I talked about last Tuesday, actually, I think the financing plan is really improved, and I think it presents a great benefit. My problem has always been looking at the regrassing and irrigation, obviously, is the number one thing. And on some of the other components, as I said on Tuesday, I still have an issue with some of the things that are included. So, including the tennis courts, the bocce, and especially you have professional services and engineering and site work at $2.2 million. And I think that's a real big number that really needs to be identified and broken out. So from my state of mind, I have issues with the components of the plan, but not any issue at all with the financing.
Now, can I ask, this still is all pending on membership vote, correct?
That's correct. What we are voting on here is to adopt this as the official version of the master plan and financing.
So from the master plan perspective, I think one of the things that the members are going to be interested in understanding better is the impact to the golf course with the 24-foot bump out for the tennis and the bocce. And I know, Donald, thank you for putting the flags out so that people could visually, that was my request, so they could visually see how far we were going to come into that red 9 green. I think, and I don't know if you've got a rendering, I would ask, we should really see a superimposed rendering of our existing green and what we have today versus that rendering that you have that shows the red 9 green. You really can't see what it's doing to the course itself.
It's on there. There's a little outline there on that master plan.
For the 60,000 rounds of golf that we play here a year and the members,
Hold a second.
you know, active participation in golf
It's
here.
right here. This is the new green. See my cursor?
Yeah,
The white is the existing green.
Right.
okay.
Right here.
So I think it's important for members to understand that, and they have to understand, you know, so the other thing is there's, I don't know how much forgiveness there's going to be if somebody doesn't hit that green. We got into that before. As we bump this all forward, is there any out of bounds? So I think from a golfer perspective, the golfers really want to know how much this is going to impact our golf play as we go forward. And I think because we are a golf community here, and tennis is important too, but I think this 24-foot bump out on the tennis court in this master plan is going to create some contention with the golfers as this whole thing moves forward and impacts that golf green in this package. If we were to resurface the tennis courts and replace the plumbing on the tennis courts and not bump out, that would all shift to the right and there'd be less impact to the golf course. And I think that may be a compromise that we have to strike for everyone to kind of come on board with this plan.
So I'll address one of those concerns that you mentioned. I did put it is hard to visualize because when you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, well, the green goes here, you don't realize that all those mounds are going to come forward. But maybe the best way to interpret this, and when you're out there playing at this point in time, is that if you were to pace from the back edge of the green today, if you were to walk from the back edge of the green today to the existing cart path that's behind 9 red green, that distance, the new distance, will be the same. So the playing area behind the green with the mounding and the drainage and all, that playing area will actually be matched to what it is today. Does that make sense?
But you're going to move forward, right?
We're moving. You're moving forward. You're moving forward. But the actual playing area, you know, about the errant shots or shots go over the green, or whatever, that playing area remains the same. You're just tightening the thing to the water's edge. And it's funny. I pulled a historical rendering yesterday. It actually by mistake, but in 2003, Arthur Hills, his recommendation was to put that 9 red green right on the edge of the water. I've got the picture right here, but I literally just pulled it because I was looking for something else. So it actually matches what his original thought was back when we rebuilt the greens back in 2003. And obviously at that point in time, we certainly weren't talking about amenities and bocce and so on and so forth. It just, his perspective was, this is what's going to make the hole a better golf hole. But from a safety standpoint, from a shot quality standpoint, the distance behind the current green today to the cart path, or you know, our aggregate cart path, would basically match what it would be after a renovation.
Thank you.
And will the path be a double path like it is now? Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the rendering, it looks like it's a single path, so it
Yeah.
looks really tiny.
Sure, and just like when you're doing the irrigation system, there are going to be on-site modifications. They'll always do that to make sure that things fit well. But the overall plan does incorporate that same standard per se.
I think there's two other comments I'd like to make around the outside casual seating area. I don't see a reason as we go forward with this that we couldn't consider moving forward with the outside casual seating into this winter season. And in the plan, it says that it's going to be in 22 or beyond with, the whole casual dining and all of that. I really think maybe we could pull that into the 2021 plan to enable people to be able to sit out and have their drink over on the side of the grill room where it was planned. And the other thing, I think short term, and I mentioned this in the special board meeting, I think we should consider it, is a portable food and beverage cart that can be used in multiple places, the bocce courts, the tennis courts, the outdoor swimming pool if we want to have a pool party, potentially on the driving range if we end up having an event outside. Gives us the flexibility to provide food and beverage to our members now versus waiting, because the halfway houses are going to require permitting and all of this, and we don't know what the county's going to do about it. So this is, I think we could add those two items into the 2021 plan to kind of offer and improve what we're going to offer the members in the short term.
Any other comments?
I would like to say that I appreciate all the work that has gone into this. I appreciate the strategic planning committee and the hours they have spent researching this and looking at trends of other communities. And I appreciate the finance committee who has reworked and reworked and reworked these numbers in order to make them palatable. And I would like to say that I think that the time for division is past. The division in the community has gotten us nowhere. I would like the people who may be against this to respect their neighbors who have done so much work to come up with this plan. I think it's a good plan, and I think it will be a benefit to everyone in the community. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. This is a great plan that we can all enjoy. It will help in our real estate values, and it will help in our enjoyment of the community. And I encourage everyone, even if you have a problem with a portion of this plan, to please think of the bigger picture, think of our future and what it can do to our community, and please try to get on board with this, even if it's not perfect in your mind.
I have two concerns. One is we're going ahead with this without a site plan from the engineer. We don't even know if any of this stuff is going to work. The tennis and bocce, that's not a big issue. But the fitting the halfway house in there and fitting the fitness center on top of the cart barn could very well be an issue, almost a moot situation, if indeed it doesn't fit into the site plan. My concern is that we're putting the cart before the horse and not getting the site plan done first to make sure that everything fits in accordance with the plan. No sense in spending the money. We're talking $130,000, $150,000 on getting the site plan done, and then finding out you can't go forward with our proposed plan. Just doesn't make sense to me. That's it.
Well, Mark, we need a plan to go forward with in order to develop a site development plan. Later on in this meeting, we'll vote to fund the budget for the site development plan and start that process and do the pre-app meeting with the county, et cetera, to find out what we really can do. But this plan is what we would like to do. This is the starting point. If the county says we can't do certain things, we can adapt the plan to that and adapt the financing as well. But we need a solid, agreed-on plan as a first step to begin this whole process.
Can I ask a question? Is there anything that would preclude us from doing the outdoor casual seating this winter in that grill room area that we're planning to use anyways? Is there a county requirement, or could we potentially add those two items I've mentioned into this 2021 proposal as part of this whole plan that we have to vote? Because I think we should look at that if we can do it. If there's no restriction that we could purchase some furniture, fire pits, put them outside the grill room, you know, for January. Could we do that? Is there any restriction from the county?
So the only thing, so we're all talking about the same thing. So what you're speaking to is just putting furniture and dressing the area up as opposed to putting pavers in and all those.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. No, there isn't, because
there's no restriction.
If we wanted to, like when we have our karaoke and all those other nights out there, and
Right.
all summer long we took the tents out there.
Right.
That basically we're operating within the way we want to operate, you know, and so they don't know the table counts, they don't know the chair counts. Those things wouldn't impact us. From all it would be is, you know, making an investment in some furniture and other items that we could use, and then obviously store more than likely in the summer, because most people wouldn't sit out there.
Correct.
Especially with it being asphalt. But
Right.
certainly, I mean, there's something we can certainly make some modifications out there so people can enjoy that area this season. Absolutely.
As far as, because we're going to need to take a vote on adopting this package with the amenities and the master plan and funding, is there a way that we can we add those two items into this plan as part of the overall, what we're going to vote on?
So because that bottom line item includes furniture and equipment, so long as the board is agreeable to that, we could certainly back out, you know, invest in furniture and equipment in the near term. Absolutely. There's nothing that would restrict us from doing that.
The timing element here is not fixed. It's flexible. It's the plan itself. This is what we want to accomplish. Whether we do it in 2021 or 22 or 23 depends on A, when we want to do it, and B, you know, are there permitting issues that would preclude it. So as long as we approve the plan and the funding, we can juggle things around to do it when it's most appropriate.
So we could go ahead with the outdoor casual seating then, potentially into this winter season, and
Absolutely.
the food and beverage is a short term. I think there's multiple uses for it. I'd like to propose that we add that into this entire master plan.
I too like the idea of outdoor furniture that could go into place. One of our challenges, I think, would incur the issue of, we want to get the plan approved by the general membership. And let's say that's done by the end of November in the ideal situation. We're still going to have to have members of different committees offer us what type of furniture we might purchase. If you don't, whatever furniture we put out there, do a quality set of furniture that we'll all be proud of. And if that could be accomplished in 30 days, I guess I'd be okay with it, but I'd caution us that that might be a challenge. And that's why I don't know that we want to put this in the proposal itself.
The casual dining is already in the proposal, and it's just simply a question of
It's a furniture procurement issue, I think, is what you're raising, and I have agreed that the quality of the furniture should be, you know, we're going to purchase this for the long run, you know. I just think that there's an opportunity here without having to wait till 2022 or beyond because of permitting. We could move on this a little quicker. And I do think that there's an opportunity with the food and beverage because we don't know what's going to come out of the halfway house. And this gives us an ability to service all these different areas. So I think it's something that we should consider.
I agree, and I have absolutely no problem with the food and beverage cart, but I don't think it's an essential part of this plan.
Where do we put it then? Where does it get proposed?
It would be proposed, at any time in a board meeting. Once things are such that it's appropriate to move in that direction, we can vote on it.
Yeah. And we can certainly get ideas from the House Committee and and the other committees involved, and get that information and get some costs to bring back to the board at the next board meeting or the December one, for sure. Absolutely.
Would probably be the December board.
More than
meeting.
likely, yes.
Yes. Where we'd have to vote on those types of things.
Right.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
I just would like to say, because I've said all along what a stunning job the Strategic Planning Committee has done and the Finance Committee has done in bringing this together. But what really impressed me today were all of the members who spoke, by my notes, unanimously in favor of this project, took the time to talk to us about it. It very thoughtful comments, some things I hadn't viewed myself, analogies that were used, sometimes very humorous statements, but every one of them heartfelt about how much this would mean to not only to them and to their investment in Foxfire, but to the entire community. And I want to thank all those members who took that time to unanimously express that sentiment. That meant a lot to me, and I found it very moving. So thank you.
I'd like to echo what Jim said very eloquently about membership involvement and the inclusion. It's enriching to know that that many people got up early this morning and said, I want to have a member's right to speak. And I think we heard folks from multiple sides. One comment that Vicki Juncker had made was the potential to take things into January when we might do some things. And Dr. Cornett, I agree with your thought that it's important that we get to it right away. But it led me to think about the importance of communicating this plan. The Communications Committee now has a major challenge to make certain that if we move forward with this in a vote, to communicate very clearly how members can hear this board meeting again, which I believe they're going to have an opportunity to hear portions of it. Put it online, continuously remind people to go to foxfirecc.com. And I know the Communications Committee team is thinking about different things, use of channel 196 to communicate. Let's get the message out as to what this proposal is going to mean for the members, so they have a clear understanding of whether they want to say yay or nay. That's important.
And Roger, to your point, and this whole communication, and I think this is really key, the members have been gone. We've had COVID in the middle of all of this, and the members, there's a lot of members that are out there that probably haven't even seen this plan or even know anything about it, or even how this financial thing is going to impact them. And I think we owe it to the members for them to understand it and make a good informed decision. And right now, I'm not convinced that we as a board, this SBC is very intimately involved and they understand it. The Communications Committee and the Finance Committee have been involved. They're very well aware. But there are a lot of members out there that probably don't have the knowledge about how this is going to work, what it means to them. And I think we've got to do a job of kind of the change management around this to help them understand it. I do think that we need to probably figure out a way to do some kind of open forum, whether it's on Zoom or however we're going to do it. But members need to be able to speak up. We heard from members today that are in favor of the plan. there are other members here that may have differing opinions, and we haven't heard from them. And I think we've lost the open forum thing because of COVID, and I think we need to get one set so that members can raise whatever concerns they have. And we've got to communicate to the entire membership what we're doing, what this means, how it's going to impact them, the financials and all of it. And I think it's important.
I believe it's important. I think that we have had a special board meeting this week, and we have had this board meeting, and we had the September board meeting talking about this. We just want to drive every member of this club who all have a stake in this, drive them to the various channels where we can say, look at foxfirecc.com, look online, share information with friends and neighbors as to what your position might be. This has been an open discussion over the course of the past number of months. Finance has laid out things very clearly in how this would work. We want to make certain we're calling that out to people's attention again. We have listened as a board completely appropriately that the primary improvement that we're seeking is certainly the golf course. And we've listened to the Greens Committee, and we said we're going to do irrigation and regrassing only as we start 2021. We want people to get comfortable with that and understand that particular piece. We want to make a master plan that appeals to the broadest cross-section of this community. And I think that between all of the committees at this particular stage, they've done that very, very effectively. Let's move this thing forward in terms of approving this morning, so we can make certain that everybody's working together.
I think the board and the communications committee are committed to doing just this in the form of webinars, more than one if we need it, roundtables, calling members. They're prepared to put together an ebook. We'll use the webpage. We'll prepare a hard copy document we can send to members. We'll have community meetings outdoors at pools or whatever. We'll do everything we can to publicize this, to make sure the members are fully informed of the plan and the financing. So we're committed to that. To do anything short is to doom the whole thing to failure. So there's a motion on the table which has been seconded. The motion being to adopt this plan with financing as the master plan for Foxfire. Is there any further discussion? All right, well, let's vote then. Sherry?
I'm in favor.
Okay. Mark?
I'm in favor, with reservation.
Roger?
I'm in favor.
Happy?
Aye.
Jim?
I'm in favor.
John?
Unfortunately opposed.
And I'm in favor. So by a 6-1 vote, this plan with financing is adopted as the master plan. Next item on the agenda is I will entertain a motion to present this master plan with the financing to members for a vote this November. Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to talk about actually the proposal that Joe Collins had mentioned, and maybe put it down to a 2-question vote. One of them being obviously the total package, yes or no, and the other one, the regrassing and irrigation based on capital funds and a special assessment? Yes or no? And the reason I say that, and I'm going to hark back to the Friends of Foxfire, where they state that more cost analysis must be done if we are to phase in different parts of the master plan. This data on specific costs for each component of the plan must be presented to our members. To date, this information has not been made available. We cannot afford another failed vote. At this point, we cannot achieve 466 yes votes on the master plan without taking the time to lay the groundwork to help the community step back and reconsider. So what I'm saying is, if you have the 2-question vote, if people vote, more 466 plus for the golf course, then that takes care of that. If you have 466 plus for the total package, obviously that is approved. But if it isn't, then you really need to, I think, do what they're saying is we need more information to the members.
John, as you well know, we have rather detailed information about the cost of each of these projects. And that information we will gladly make available to any and all members.
Now, is that something that would be posted on the website?
There's no reason it can't be.
Oh, yeah, I would suggest that, just going along with what they're saying here.
I guess I'd have to say I'm opposed to the idea of anything other than the 1-question vote. I think to do so, what I heard from the people who spoke today and my own thoughts are that it would just do nothing more than further divide this community. And I don't want to see that. I would oppose a 2-question vote. I would support the motion as presented, that we put it as we approved it to the vote of the members.
Well, the only thing I'm afraid of is if the total package vote does not pass, that means the regrassing and irrigation obviously does not pass, which means that, we're out another 60 or 90 days to try and figure out how we're going to reconfigure this. And at that point, either there are no irrigation and grassing vendors available, or the costs will be substantially higher. So we either have that situation or we have to wait till 2022 to do the golf course. That's the only reason why I'm throwing in that 2nd question.
I understand, I just disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we took a vote and we decided on this master plan. I don't think we can amend it at this point.
No, we're talking about the vote right now, not the
I
master.
understand, but we can't throw in another element at this point.
This is a separate bullet, so why can't we?
All right, never mind. Never mind. Let's just move on.
Okay, well, currently there's a motion to present this master plan with financing, which we just approved, to members for a vote this November. Is there any further discussion of that? If not,
I think we're gonna have to be prepared as a board if this doesn't pass because of John's raising a point. We're gonna have to be prepared. What are we gonna do if it doesn't pass? And as a board, we're gonna have to deal with it.
Right.
So know that if we put this vote out for the whole package, the important part is the members understand the financial impact to them and all of that, which I think we've got to really help them understand, because I think that might relieve some of the concerns that they have by the way we've creatively gone about trying to get this to work, and the county permitting and some of the things that we've had issues with in the past. But we will have to deal with this if it doesn't pass. With the golf course that has to move forward. So, and what do we do about the contingency or the putting a retainer on the for this vendor, this letter of intent or whatever Joe was talking about? What are we doing about that?
well, we have to take this one step at a time. But I think the first step is is to get this plan before the members. And if they approve it, we're all set. If not, then we have to revisit and as quickly as possible, come up with an alternate plan.
And there is one of the bullets, as you mentioned, on the agenda is to approve for us to move forward with a vendor so we can, so that's, it's on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Don't jump me. I'm
Oh,
just
oh,
trying
no,
to-
I was just pointing it out. I was just pointing it out so that.
Is there any further discussion of the motion? Okay, on the motion to present this master plan with financing to members for a vote this November. Sherry,
Aye.
Mark,
Well, again, I'm in the camp of John on this one. I think you should have, it can save time by putting it out in a 2-question format. If one fails, then we have the one to fall back on. But we're just going to have to send another vote out. So I guess I'm going to
are
vote
you
for this.
voting yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay. Roger,
Yay.
Tappy,
Aye.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Nay.
and I vote yay. So by a vote of 6-1, we will send this plan to members for a vote this November. Next item on the agenda is a vote to approve a budget for a site development plan. Donald, what's the budget?
Dr. Cornetta, before we jump off of that, can
Sure.
we get that vote out sooner than November?
Well,
Because I think the faster we do that, because we got a 30-day window in front of Thanksgiving, we need to do this sooner than later.
Well, we'll do it as quickly as we reasonably can, but we've got to take the steps that you were advocating in terms of being sure the members are fully informed. And that can't be done in overnight in terms of the process of doing that.
Okay.
Okay, so is there a motion to fund the budget of up to
$130,000.
$130,000 for a site development plan?
I move we approve the funding as budgeted or as proposed for $130,000 to fund the site development plan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there discussion?
Actually, a couple of questions that came up. Now, I understand from Donald that Josh from Davidson was working on an updated cost estimate for the SDPA. Is that something that has been received yet?
Actually, Mr. Houck, I actually don't have the most up-to-date from Josh. They did send me something this morning as soon as I walked in here. So, but I've also had MHK send out RFPs for a couple of other engineers as well. So we're looking at our initial estimate as our ceiling so that we're safe. But there will be a formal revision from Davidson, and also at least one other formal proposal from one of the other engineers.
Now, a question in terms of that, the 130,000, it was 130 or 138 you mentioned?
Yeah, it was 138, but as I'd mentioned in the previous meeting, just based on the items that wouldn't have to be done twice because of one site development plan, that we had estimated that there'd be somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 in savings from that original one. So, and then obviously there's some some items in there that are just cost estimates because depending on the number of revisions. So the 130 really is what I would say would be our complete ceiling on this. And obviously we want to get that as low as possible. We don't want to spend any money on this that we don't have to, for sure.
Now, in terms of the Davidson thing, I only found maybe one specific provision in their proposal, as well as parts of a couple of others, which were obviously substantially less than the $130,000. So when we look at this, if we're looking at this as a ceiling, then we would have to approve anything as it's presented to us on a per item basis. rather than just doing a blanket approval.
Correct, exactly.
So if something comes in where because also you had meant, well, also I had another question, whether the ERP is required as part of the SDPA. And another question is that we need legal descriptions and title searches for various easements. And also we'll need an APR, which is for a parking reduction, I guess, variance from the county. So I think these would all enter in to probably this $130,000 ceiling.
Right. They absolutely would. They absolutely would. So anything that's beyond what's on that sheet of paper, other than something that comes in completely out of sight, anything beyond what that scope is, we would come back and obviously go for additional funding. I'm pretty confident at this point in time, based on my conversations with Mark. So I was trying to deal with Mark from MHK. So I'm trying to deal with more of a neutral party there.
Yeah.
That he's confident that the site development plan with the I don't have it in front of me. What's it? The RAI.
Yeah, there is a discussion of the RAI.
Yeah. So, that all those things can be achieved at or better than what we have on paper at this time.
Now, in terms of the steps, say we approve a budget to move ahead with the site development plan. What are your next steps? Obviously, we would need something from an engineering company stating what their proposed site plan development is going to be, what's included. Then I would assume you have the site survey that was done. So I would think at that point, taking the MHK drawings, that you would set up some type of meeting with the county to obviously show them what the plans are, especially the location of the potential location of the cart barn, to make sure we're within the setback requirements and everything else with the county. Does that make sense?
Correct. So what we'll do is we have the site survey that's been achieved.
Right.
There's some legal descriptions that have to be either drafted or pulled. There's got to be some title search, but I haven't authorized Davidson to do any of those things yet, nor have I authorized Steve Falk to do it until we knew, how we were going to move forward and who we were going to move forward with. But as I understand it, the site survey, the engineering firm would modify any findings from that site survey onto the current concept plan, any modifications that they're aware of. The attorney will do a title search for any of the easements that exist. And then from there, we would schedule the pre-app meeting. And then that's where the county would give us pretty much a checklist of the call outs on the items that have to be modified. And so we can start that whole process of a site development plan. But there are a couple of steps to do, obviously, but right now we have to obviously assign this to an engineer and be authorized to work with them. And otherwise, we really can't do anything at this point in time. We've achieved everything we can achieve at this point in time without additional approvals.
So what we'd do is as you say, would receive a revised bid from Davidson and then another bid from another engineering company. We would, I guess, we would look at it. Yes. And decide which description makes sense, and also based on cost. And
exactly.
Then we would either then approve one or the other. So I don't know whether if we're approving something like that, we would need some type of quick, maybe board Zoom meeting to formally approve it. And then, as you say, the next step would be going to the county.
Yeah, what we're approving here, John, is the funding of the site development plan,
Right.
with committing to any engineering firm or any.
Correct. Yeah, no, I understand that.
It's for the site development plan.
Yeah.
Why only two?
Well, I said, I know we've requested 3. we've requested 3, but there's 3 that would definitely be able to do this work. But there's no guarantee we're going to get the 3rd. That's one of the things that, like, for example, when we did the golf course maintenance building, we sent the building out to 5 or 6 different companies, and we only got 3 bids back. So there's no guarantee that these engineering firms would step into it. But I know for a fact we have two committed to providing a formal proposal, Davidson and Barber, at this point in time. And the 3rd one, Grady Minor, we just haven't heard back from at this point in time. So,
Okay. So if you pursue Grady Minor, then you get your 3rd.
and we already did pursue them. We've already sent them a letter and everything. So,
Okay.
yep,
That's
yep,
good.
no.
Okay. Any other discussion related to this motion? All right, well, there's a motion on the table to approve a budget of $130,000 for a site development plan. Sherry?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Roger?
Aye.
Tappy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I'm aye. So by unanimous vote, we'll move forward with the site development plan. The next item is a vote to approve irrigation vendor to negotiate terms of contract pending member approval, and to approve funds to secure vendor lock-in for material pricing. In short, we want to strike a deal with the vendors to lock their prices until such time as we get this vote done.
And this costs?
The estimate, I would do an estimate of $15,000 based on the conversations that we've had and what Mr. Collins brought up today. We're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000. So if we approve $15,000, obviously we're going to try to only have to write a check for 10, but let's start at 15. That way we have some room if we need it.
Refundable or non-refundable?
As Mr. Collins had mentioned, what we would do is it would be refundable if they were to get another job. So that, we would give them a letter of commitment. And if they were to get another job before we had a positive vote or any vote back from the members, then we would release them of the obligation. And then obviously they would refund our money. But that's the summary point of what we're trying to do with these 2 vendors.
So if the vote fails and they don't get another job, it's not refundable.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's going to be, we have to get into the detail with them. We just to really, so obviously we're going to do everything we can to be able to have our money refunded.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how they're going to negotiate back with us, but we have to have a starting point and know that we can do that.
I hear you.
Donald, I've not heard or seen anything at all in writing about how real an increase in the price of materials is. I've just heard anecdotal stories that it's going to go up, which doesn't surprise me because everything goes up in price. How real is it that between now and when we're able to commit to a vendor, that is after November, how real is it that there's going to be a price increase? And how much do you think it will be that we put at risk by not doing this? In other words, whatever we're going to be, if this is PVC piping, let's say,
sure,
and we're going to buy, we know we're going to buy 200,000 feet of PVC piping. And if the price increase is likely to be $1 a foot, then we know we're putting 200,000 potentially at risk.
Right.
Do you have any estimates of A, how likely this is, and B, what the scope of the risk is if we don't do it?
Well, I can say that the likelihood is that our irrigation consultant, who's actually working on our behalf, has brought that to our attention. So he's Dave Reagan, who designed the new irrigation system. He's the one that brought that to our attention that, hey, this is the expectation, and he's dealing with this all the time. We can certainly get something in writing from him. And then based on the component cost, should be able to come back to us and say, okay, this is the total, this is the number you're really looking at for sure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if 15,000 is a good investment if all that's at risk is 15,000, for example. I have no idea what the scope of this risk is.
It's more like, more in the $100,000 to $300,000 risk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
it starts making sense.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, Donald, are we talking the top 2 irrigation vendors that have had the best pricing?
Yes, the conversations, Mr. Collins, I've met quite a bit on this over the last several months, but our preferred vendor right now, I believe, is GT Irrigation. They provide a very comprehensive proposal. They will, regardless of which equipment we use, whether it's Toro or Rainbird, they don't favor either one of them. So their proposals came in. His proposal came in that basically whether we choose Toro or Rainbird, it's going to be the same number, the same lump sum. So and also what they did was they included one of the things that we requested originally when we negotiated and drew up the scope of work was that if instead of hiring day laborers and things like that when they're out doing the work, if they would consider using some of our golf course maintenance staff who's experienced and credit payroll dollars back to us to help us with costs and obviously expertise. And they actually included that in their program as well, in their proposal as well. So GT Irrigation, who Mr. Collins referred to this morning, is our #1 vendor. And they actually are, at this point in time, the lowest bid that we had of all 5 irrigation vendors.
And just to make sure, so at this point, they're the only ones who have offered to use our workers to do work there and then obviously give us a credit. So no other vendor has made that offer.
The others have made a commitment that they would, but what was nice with GT is they actually broke it down and qualified it with a dollar amount based on 5 employees for 50 hours a week. So that's really was a real benefit, I think, for them to provide that to us last year.
Sure.
The other vendor, just to keep that so everybody understands, is in the loop here. The other vendor, one of the most attractive things about the other vendor is that this particular company is local, and I believe one of the reasons why, and he's excellent. His company's excellent, has a great reputation, but I believe one of the reasons why he is competitive with GT is because they're not going to have to pay for housing and rooms around the Naples area because his primary staff is already local, which is a plus as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, is there any further discussion? So it is before us a vote to approve the irrigation vendor to negotiate terms of contract and to approve funds to secure vendor and lock in material pricing to the tune of a maximum of $15,000. Is there any further discussion?
Do we have a motion to that effect? You do?
Yeah.
No,
I'll make the motion.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't think we did.
Okay, so we have a motion. Is it seconded?
Forgot.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, let's go around. All in favor? Sherry?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Roger?
Aye.
Tappy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's 7-0. I just want to thank the many former and present members of Foxfire and of various committees who over the last 8+ years have devoted countless hours to getting us to where we are this morning. And I want to thank in particular the current board members. We've had to face difficult decisions and collaborate and compromise. And I think what we have achieved here is true synergy and a win-win. So I want to thank everybody involved, and most especially the members of the Green Committee, the Strategic Planning Committee, the Finance Committee, and the Communications Committee, who really have done yeoman work on behalf of Foxfire members. Now let's move on to the nominating committee appointment. Roger.
Thank you. Dr. Cornetta asked me to again be the board chair for the nominating committee, and I began a recruiting process, if you will, raising this amongst different members. I had a couple of guidelines that I've tried to follow. One, I wanted to make certain that we were seeking members who represent diverse housing stock throughout Foxfire. So I wanted to make certain, if at all possible, find people from condominiums, from villas, from verandas, and single-family home ownership. Secondly, for this nominating committee, I wanted to make certain that we had members who have been owners or renters in Foxfire for at least 5 years. I will say that I targeted thinking about, as I first started to begin to speak with people or send them emails, the Foxmoor and the Fox Haven communities, because they have such a large percentage of the population. There's 160 units in one, and I believe 140 in another. So they represent an inordinate amount of our overall population. I sought to at least have 1 or 2 members who have worked with us in the past. This is not a unit of a committee that gets a lot of discussion, because it only occurs between now and the annual meeting. By charter, we have to make certain that this group is named 90 days in advance. By a group agreeing to this, we'll approve it by about 120 days. I think that's important. And I also have a preference of balancing this between male and female members. I think that it's important. I know some previous years we haven't had some solid representation in female population, and I wanted to make certain I was balancing it that way. And not everybody could participate. Some people had other occasions. It doesn't matter who those people were that I may have talked about in conversations. But I have 4 talented people who meet my criteria, and I think they'll do a great job. I'd like to recommend Debbie Burkhead. Debbie and her husband Stuart are single-family homeowners. Chad Callanan is in a group of verandas. We heard from Chad this morning. Allie Gallahue is in a condominium complex in Foxmoor, and Mike McGrone is in a condominium complex in Fox Haven. I have spoken with each of these people, sent them an email talking about, we come to this nominating committee in an unbiased fashion. And I will have a conversation with them in the monthly meetings that we're going to have. I'd ask the board to approve all 4 of these people in a unanimous fashion.
Is there a motion to approve the 4 members indicated by Roger to form the nominating committee?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, question, Roger. I know that Chad was on this committee last year, and you mentioned that you were looking at that as, I guess, a strong point or something. Were other people available to serve on this committee?
I reached out to about 10 different people, and there was some time constraints, availability constraints, and some people just said that they'd rather not. Nominating committee is critical for us by charter, but I reached out to a number of different people.
So these were the 4 people who basically said yes.
These people said yes. Both Ally and Chad have experience with the nominating committee in terms of formulating questions. Chad will be very, very important to us, as all of them are, in that he's part of the communications committee, and he'll make certain that we get some support in that particular area.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I was also looking at where Ally and Chad are also on other committees, and I understand this is only a 3 or 4 month committee, so maybe something needs to be done to kind of remove the point that somebody doesn't serve on 2 committees at once. Maybe we need to have a board resolution kind of exempting the nominating committee.
If we,
I mean, that's down the road. I'm not saying we do it now.
necessary, I would certainly not oppose it. I don't know that it that accomplishes everything that we need to do. We need to get the nominating committee together. They have to be experienced in Foxfire working relationships. They're not going to be permanent folks. I think they can handle their other committee positions, which are the challenge that they all have in terms of their time. These people are willing to spend some extra time with us. Mike McGrone is president of one of the Foxhaven buildings. I know he's very, very busy and is very gracious. He's no longer the president? Okay.
So he has time.
He has time, and I'm glad that Mike agreed to participate with us.
I think just putting in the exemption for the nominating committee is probably the way to go, Roger, because we did set that one, you can only be on one committee, and you have to resign from one to be on the other, and we're not asking Debbie or Chad to resign, so, and I believe Ally's on a committee as well, so I think we've got people that are all on committees right now, and we just need an exemption for the nominating committee.
Okay. Can we vote on this motion and then immediately do a motion to exempt the nominating committee from the constraints on membership?
Sure.
Okay. So there's a motion to appoint these 4 individuals to the nominating committee, and it's been seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have issues with one of the members for nomination. If you want, I can tell you all later, but I won't say it over Zoom. Very biased. Okay.
Go ahead, Mark.
Just leave it, if you will.
Mark.
Very biased. And I'm not going to vote in favor of passing this.
Okay.
Can you, without revealing the identity, can you give us a little more insight into what you mean by bias? Not too much information, just a little.
Sure, I received an email from one of them that I should not consider running again, period.
Ah, okay.
I couldn't hear what you said. Can you repeat it, please? I'm sorry.
I received an email from one of the nominees that I shouldn't consider running again.
Oh, okay.
Period.
And actually, I got a similar email as well.
Well, as I've said, I have provided something in writing, and I'll be happy to provide it to all of you, that our job is not to weigh in whether any member is eligible. It's to make certain that we're adhering to the bylaws. Last year I had said to to the nominating committee folks, and I'll be saying it again to these individuals. Every one of them has a right to their opinion. They're members of this club, and they can vote for a particular candidate that they may choose. I didn't want them to host any parties at their home, if that was what they might want to do. They had to maintain their independence as a member of the nominating committee. But any member who's in good standing in this community has that means that they're up to date and paying their bills. They have a right to run. And we want at minimum of 3 people to be throwing their hat in the ring for a board seat. And I think that these 4 people will help all of us make certain that we get in that direction. Last year, we had 4 people who threw their hat into the ring. And I'm confident that we'll have 3 or 4 again this year.
Can you assure us, Roger, that you will minimize bias and not allow
I think
inappropriate comments?
Integrity of the person that has written the emails to the board members in particular. And it is an issue. I mean, you can't deny it, but. So if you want to vote it,
Well,
without naming the individual, there's one in particular that you've selected, Roger, that's
the board members to which this individual has written are not
They're not running.
up for reelection.
Yeah, well, I mean,
at this time.
they're not.
But I also have received an email from that particular person as well. So,
But you're not running. Well, you are running.
so
Was the email saying you shouldn't run? Is that what the subject
the
is?
email was, I don't want to go into the details.
Okay, well, every member here has a right to express their opinion. So as long as, I'm not going to vote anybody up or down if they have their opinions about the way Foxfire is being run. They're entitled to that. So I'm ready to vote.
Okay, well, we still have a motion in front of us to appoint these 4 people as members of the nominating committee. It's been seconded. We've discussed it. Let's vote. Sherry?
I'm going to abstain on this one.
Abstain. Mark?
No.
No. Roger?
Aye.
Happy?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
John?
Nay.
And I vote aye. Well, by a 4-2 with 1 abstention, the committee's appointed.
I do have to say that it does concern me that someone on the nominating committee is opinionated, but I trust Roger to keep the nominating committee in control and that no vitriol will be expressed during these meetings.
There's very few people in Foxfire that don't have strong opinions.
That's true.
Tell me about it. Okay.
Oh, no, Dr. Cornetti, you're completely immune from that, aren't you? Nobody ever says anything to you.
Let's go on to old business, the proposed master plan survey.
That's that.
Okay, we're beyond it. Certificate of amendment.
On the certificate of amendment, so one of the requests was to have Steve write an index, so he is doing that for us. So once the index that discusses the statutory language is prepared, we'll present that at the next board meeting, but it was on the agenda. So we just wanted to circle back on that. And once we have the index for those statutory changes, we'll bring that to a future board meeting.
This has to do with the governing documents and bringing them up to speed with the statutory language. Okay, the Legacy Committee liaison appointments.
Well, the appointment was to make me the liaison to the Legacy Committee,
Okay.
I guess. So if that requires board approval, it does.
Is there a motion to appoint Jim Moore as liaison to the Legacy Committee.
We didn't already do that, I guess, huh?
No.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second? Anyone?
What's up?
A second to the motion to appoint Jim as liaison to the Legacy Committee. I'll second it. Is there any further discussion? I guess not. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Jerry?
I'm gonna abstain.
Mark?
Nay.
That was yay?
Nay.
Nay?
No.
John?
Nay.
Really?
Did we have a discussion on this? What is the objection?
Wait, yeah, I mean, seriously, what's the problem?
Well, we're voting, so we can't get into a discussion now.
When's that ever stopped us?
I'd ask that we let Roger come back. This is appalling.
Okay.
Let Roger come back so we can vote. He's probably-
So far, we have an abstention. A nay. Tappy, you voted yes.
I voted aye, yes.
John, you voted no. Is it legitimate?
Mark voted no.
For Jim to vote?
Yeah, I'd be happy to vote yay if it's not a conflict. I mean,
I can't see any
it isn't a
conflict.
conflict, I
No,
don't
there's
think.
no
So I'll vote yes.
I think you have an obligation to vote. I mean, as a board member, I think you have to.
I'll vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, vote yay, so everything depends on
I
Roger.
think he has to abstain.
Roger?
Yes.
How do you vote on appointing Jim as liaison to the Legacy Committee?
Aye. I apologize.
The vote is 4 yeas, 2 nays, and 1 abstention. Standing committees. I think we've exhausted the work of the Strategic Planning Committee and the Communication Committee. Are there any other committees, liaisons who would like to make any comments about their committees?
The Green Committee has an opening coming up. We are actively looking for members to fill that vacancy and perhaps to expand the committee by 1 or 2. And I will be able to report more on that at future meetings.
Okay, under Safety Committee, we have a notice of dividend payment. Donald?
Yes, I just wanted to make the board aware that based on our safety record, we did achieve another dividend this year. So Pam's already got that money in the bank, and that'll help. That'll help offset some of the money we spent today.
Roger, did you want to discuss the cart lease and trail fee programs?
Yes, if I may. We will make one comment on the Finance Committee. We have an opening on the Finance Committee. Kathy Connors is not, she agreed to serve 1 extra year for us, which she did. We have an opening, and Lynn Anderson will be looking for people who have applied. In terms of the cart lease program, I had a series of emails that I shared with a single member who's a cart lease member. And I promised her that she had some concerns that there was a discriminatory pricing piece for cart leasing programs. We shared information back and forth. I assured her that I would bring it up with the Finance Committee and have them review it. You have a note in the book, but we also sent out a cleaner piece on it It was sent to all of the board members via email. We at the finance committee at this particular point in time shares the thought that I had that we would not change around the cart lease program this year. We're already under budget. There are 44 members who are part of the cart lease program. There's 180. I can't think. 180 that are in the trail fees. We are sensitive to the finance committee, and I, as treasurer, are sensitive to pricing, but we have to make certain that we're pricing things properly. We're not tied to, we're tied to the unit, the housing unit, in terms of establishing pricing. Not everybody is going to use the master swimming pool. It's going to be a small percentage of people. I don't want to see fees being charged to people who are never use the swimming pool. But I want to make certain that we know that we're in a bundled community and we all share costs in this community. So we're not going to move forward with any changes this year. I will ask the finance committee to certainly keep that in mind as you look at budgeting for next year.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
Actually, can I go back to the golf cart situation?
Yes, John, go ahead.
There were two examples given, and actually I'd like to offer a third example where Bob rides alone in his, and this would relate to the last 6 months, where Bob rides alone in his personal cart, and then 2 hours later, Beth goes out and she rides alone in a Foxfire cart. Now, in my mind, or the way I understand it, is that Beth is actually not being charged for riding in that Foxfire cart, whereas maybe she should be, because she's using that cart, whereas another member doesn't have the use of that cart at that time.
John, are you projecting that we'll be riding one person to a cart on a permanent basis?
No, well, actually, I'll go back to examples B, where you have Mary and Beth ride in Mary's personal cart at 8 a.m. and then 10 a.m. Bob rides in a club-owned cart with Barney. So the way I look at it, Beth is going to pay a cart fee because it's not her cart. And then the other two, Barney and Bob, are using a club-owned cart. So in my mind, that should be a cart fee for each of them. So in essence, you would have 3 cart fees in that situation.
They're actually paying an annual cart fee is what
I
they do.
understand they're paying an annual fee, but the way it's going now, anybody that's essentially riding in as a guest in an owned cart, they're being charged, the cart fee. So I think the reverse situation, where if you have an owner who's using a Foxfire cart, why shouldn't they be charged a cart fee as well?
It's going to lead to arguments between couples. Like who gets charged, who gets.
John, if there are modifications you'd like to suggest to the plan, why don't you submit them and.
Yeah, I have no problem. Yeah, this doesn't have to be decided right now, obviously, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay, any other committee reports?
The only other one is the Memorial Fund. We met, and we committee agreed that we should Len and the rest of the committee felt that we should stay as a separate entity from the legacy fund. And Donald, I don't recall the items that we approved. Do you happen to remember which ones we approved? There were a couple of things that we approved from the Memorial Fund. I just don't recall what they were.
The landscaping around the pro shop.
Oh, the landscaping. So anybody that's been driving around the pro shop, you'll see that we took out all the bushes and we put in some very nice, tasteful landscaping and some black kind of pots to put in annuals, flowers around the pro shop. It's kind of enhanced the look
Yes.
around the pro shop. And what else?
And the other item was that once we have the pool finished, that we would, they would consider doing some sort of a, donation to.
Donation for the landscaping for
Right.
improving the pool
Right.
area. So, and we've cautioned because of the work that we're doing with the front and back entrances that we may come to them for some funding for some of the landscaping that we want to do as we get to that front and back entrance.
Do they have dollar amount for those?
The only thing right now is 4,000.
4,000?
4,000 for the pro shop landscaping.
Okay, thank you.
It was 3,000, I think, for the, for around the clubhouse was the funding. I think.
We did
Oh, it was
4 because the stones that we have to get.
Oh, okay, so it was 4,000,
Yeah.
just so that you know the amount that was spent to improve the aesthetics around the club here.
How much is in the memorial fund right now?
About $40,000.
And
Okay, you can do a lot.
to address your question about the memorial fund staying a separate entity, I believe we had a deadlocked vote, so the memorial fund and the legacy fund will be separate
Yeah,
entities.
they just voiced their
Mhm.
support of what we decided, so.
Okay. You all have had an opportunity to see the correspondence that's in the board books. Does any member wish to exercise a right to speak?
Betty Berger's the one, if I can bring her up, you gotta ask her. Betty Berger.
Betty Berger.
Betty Berger? If you could unmute your device, Ms. Berger? Okay. Go ahead. Ms. Berger?
You're on.
Betty Berger?
Okay.
We're ready to listen to you.
Next is Burkhead.
Okay, Deborah Burkhead, if you could unmute your device.
Yeah.
Okay, what? Oh, no, you're muted again. Okay, Debbie Burkhead?
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, so you didn't ask to speak.
No, I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay.
Think of something, Debbie.
Going down the list. Chad Callahan's no longer on.
Now,
Kathy
are
Connors
these
is
people
on.
who are off that list?
It's on the list, it's the only one. These are members.
It's a separate list from the
No,
original
it's the
one?
original list. That's only have one list.
We did everybody then.
Yeah, we did.
We're all done. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. Well done.
Very good. Very good.